All right, hello. Hi, everyone.
You have to pop it from behind.
Welcome to the 10th dev stream of SunnySide, or developer live stream.
Then you come over here and follow it.
My name is Siavash, aka Rainy. I'm the game director of SunnySide, and joining me is Sydney, narrative director of SunnySide, aka Fem.
Hi.
Yeah.
I was listening to the stream on I have it playing somewhere and I'm hearing you and it's freaking me out. So I'm gonna have to track down what's going on my computer. But hi everybody. Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm really loud. So can you balance that out, Rady?
Oh boy.
I'm really loud.
I will reduce the voice. I know I am usually quiet, and everybody always mentions that. So
there we go.
Sorry about that. So
found it.
There we go.
Okay, I'm no longer screaming in my own ears. That's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is
not
as much
a RainyGames stream if the beginning isn't a little crazy because of technical problems.
This is as much Halloween as I am. This is literally the only Halloween themed thing I have today, which is a 3D printed thing. If anybody likes, I can share the files. You guys can go ahead and print it for yourselves. But hello everyone. So we really need to be especially careful with the volume on this one, because it's not just going to be Sydney today. but the entire team. So we're gonna be hopping over there in a second. Doc, thank you so much for catching that. When I made that video today of the pumpkin and the music, I totally forgot that there was text in there that said Higashi Night. That was not Higashi Night theme. It was the Autumn Night theme, which we will and later. Anyway, let's hop over to the voice chat that the team is in, so you can see everybody. And if you want to give them a 5-second heads up, so that they're not.
Yeah, I'll go let them know.
They're not talking about weird stuff. And then we'll hop over there. Doctor, that was a fantastic video. We all really enjoyed it. We had our team meeting today and we all watched it, and it was really good. Some very, very good analyzes and some wrong. I'll say that, but you know, it's always.
But we're not gonna tell you what.
But it's always fun when there are some stuff that are right and some. Yeah. All right, we're gonna hop in there and see the team. Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Ew.
Hello.
That was so slow.
Halloween.
That was slow. Yeah. So we have all of the team, not all of the team, most of the team here. Some of the members didn't want to join because life. But otherwise, we got as many as we could together, and some even with video. So say hi, everyone, again, if you like.
Hi.
Hey. Hi.
There we go. I need to turn on my own camera.
Yeah, I was like, you gotta turn your camera on.
You guys saw my amazing pumpkin on the microphone?
It is
a
so
brilliant
cool.
idea at the last second.
Amazing.
Yes. So do we want to introduce everybody one by one? I think probably.
Yeah, I think
best.
that would be a way to go. Let's. I guess we can just start in the top left and.
So that's
work
actually
our way
going to
over.
be different on everybody's.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
screen.
I'll tell them who it is.
Okay.
So that means Andy's actually on the spot first. So say hi, Andy. Tell us who you are, what you do, and we'll move on.
I'm one of the concept artists. I'm designing you guys' clothing for right now. It's a lot of fun.
Yes. Andy actually joined the team specifically for that one job. So you guys can be sure that we're gonna have some very interesting costumes and clothing.
And then you guys know who I am, so we can skip over my face. But to my other side is our lovely music man, Matt. Matt, say hi.
The one and
Hi,
only.
everybody.
That music that you
that's
guys just
me.
heard. Yes.
Yeah.
He literally played it on the guitar. So.
And next up is Kai.
Hey guys, my name is Kirill. Everybody calls me Kai. I'm from Bulgaria and I'm the level designer of the team.
Yes, Kai has been working very hard. He's been kind of stuck down in the caves.
He's in the bowels.
We've been
Unfortunately, we don't
keeping
get to
him in
show
there
much
for a
of his
few
stuff.
months. Yeah, you guys actually, the RazorCon trailer was the first time that you all got like a glimpse of what he's been working on, but we will get in a bit more deep, not too much. Next to me
And then Ken is next.
Bagheera, but oh yeah, that way.
Yeah. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm looking at my own dang screen. But yeah, Ken is next.
Kenna is next.
Hi. I'm Kenna, aka Kitty Heart on the Discord. I'm doing writing. I do most of the flavor text right now. I did the first drafts of the script, and currently doing more production management.
The important stuff.
Oh yes, scary stuff.
Lots of spreadsheets.
Lots of spreadsheets.
You want to
And
see if they can guess who
then,
I am?
Yeah, right?
Oh,
Who's
yeah.
next? Who is this person?
Who do you guys think this person is?
Nobody's gonna recognize this guy.
Oh my
You
gosh,
you
is
actually
that
dyed your hair, right?
Yeah, I
Kyle
did.
Sylvester?
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. You guys
I
are
don't do
adorable.
contacts. That's the only reason why I didn't do the eyes.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, say hi anyway. You still
Hi
gotta
everyone.
introduce yourself.
So yeah, I'm Kyle Sylvester. I am IT for RainyGames, and I also help out with QA. Whenever there's a new build for us to work on, I dive in there and I try to break it as much as possible to drive Fem and Rainy crazy. And
That's true.
outside of that, I try to fix Rainy's computer when it breaks all the time.
We shot a gun.
So
right
true.
there. And now we have Bagheera, so thank you so much for joining us. Fantastic. And
We
then-
gotta have cat cam. You
Gotta
know,
have cat.
it's not a good stream without cat
Supervisor.
cam.
Oh, another cat.
Oh,
Kitty.
Hey,
Kitty.
kitties.
All right, and next up, Ren. take it away.
Hey guys, I go by Ren on the server. My name is René. I'm French Canadian. I'm responsible for most of the animals, most of the farm animals, and now I'm doing a lot of texture and optimization work. Learning it along the way. It's not easy, but it's a lot of fun. So happy to be here.
Yeah, so all the cute animals that you see in the game and you'll kind of go crazy over, that's that Ren's job. And you know, speaking of modeling, right next to Ren is Ken.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Ken, and I'm from Ireland. In case you can't tell by the accent, I do the 3D modeling, and I also do rigging and animation of the characters. So lots to do.
Yeah, so Ken joined the game with I think he was responsible to do the ancients originally, but then he's doing so much more. So all of the buildings in the game are Ken's work. Actually, it was mine and Ken, but Sydney had made sure to get rid of all the models that I have made. It's all Ken's now.
It's true. It's true.
Alongside,
I will say
you're better at it. So
I will say originally, when I hired on Ken, it was because he knew animation, and I think we got so distracted with modeling that we forgot. And it was like 2 months in that you were like, "Oh, by the way, I do animate," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that thing that I actually hired you for. We're gonna actually have you do that now. Thanks." So
that's right.
Yeah. Alongside that, all the props, pretty much most of the 3D models that you see in the game are.
Yeah.
And right next to Ken and below me is Laura.
Hi. I do art and recently some UI stuff, and also just helping wherever I can and learning a lot.
Yes, Laura was actually one of the Kickstarter backers. Her name was Effervescent. I think it still is on the server.
It is.
So a while back we were actually digging up her messages in the server, seeing what she was complaining about during the alpha period, and then telling her, "See how hard it is now." But Laura's been doing fantastic UI work, which I actually don't think we're getting into today. Are we?
We showed it last stream.
Did we? Oh, fantastic. Well, I'll show you guys in the game quick again, because it is in the game. And right next to me is the one and only Liz.
I am on the art team, and I do illustration, and as I believe Dr. D-Dub in the chat said, and other duties as assigned.
And if you can't tell, she's from the Midwest.
No! You can tell!
I mean, it's obvious that you're from the
Oh, heck!
But
we
yeah,
call Liz the goddess of heck.
Yes,
she is our hecker.
She says heck a lot. So we actually have that emote that we used a few times with that shaky face. That is one of Liz's creations, and we just named it heck.
Unintentionally, you guys screen cap everything I show you.
It's true. It's true. It's
so
our meetings are dangerous.
They are.
Yeah, guilty. I'm very guilty of that.
Bren is so fast on the draw.
But thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We really wanted to do this for the longest time, so we thought Halloween would be the best occasion. And thank you all for joining us on this one. It's gonna be a lot more of a chill stream where we just kind of, chiller than usual, you know. Yeah, thank you, the team and everybody else. So the QA channel is up and running in Discord, right?
Actually, no, I forgot that. But I will do it right now.
Right, so there's going to be the Q channel. But since this is a more chill stream, feel free to just ask your questions as it comes along in the chat. We will get to them. But if we do miss any of those questions, you can then type it in the Discord, and we are going to miss them. Right, so business stuff. Do you want to talk about that, Sydney? Actually, you're something. So
yeah, just let me do this real quick because I forgot. But somebody asked if Liz, do you also say G's?
Oh, you bet. I say stuff like y'all Ida, G's, oh sheesh, gosh darn.
Gosh darn.
You bet I do. Oh, let me scoot right on by you. Yeah.
Let me scoot on right by you.
Yeah. I had the audacity one time, like, I don't have an accent, do I? And everybody was like, yes, you do.
Are you kidding me?
All
I
right.
am also doing
QA is
something that I
live.
forgot to do before the stream, so you're not the only one, Sid. It's all good.
Oh, well, we always forget everything. It's part of our charm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys could just blame us because we were keeping you guys distracted before this.
That's true.
That is true. Yeah, we usually prep like the whole hour before, and you guys are so distracting.
Also, I wasn't
okay.
smart enough to change the audio of the Discord to a different channel, so it's just my desktop audio. So if you hear Windows complaining with notification sound, please try to ignore it. All right, go ahead, Liz. Liz, no, Sid.
Me. Okay, so business stuff is what we always kind of start with. We say business, but really it's just everything that's not related to the game. So like, I don't know, exciting marketing stuff, which we got a lot of this time. You guys have noticed that October was kind of really busy. We had like a whole bunch of events happen, and we had a new trailer, and then we had a couple announcements, and it's been a little chaotic. So it's kind of part of why we wanted to do like a chill stream, so that we could just like relax after all the craziness. But so one of the cool things that happened this month was Nintendo Life did another article, which some of you may or may not have seen. It came with a new video, which was about animals. So Ren's stuff got a little bit of love this time, which was fun. So we definitely want to show the video again in case anybody missed it, or if you got distracted by the article and just didn't see it. I feel like that happened a little bit. So do you want to show it?
Yeah, I have the video ready, so let's go ahead and have a look at that. It's about 3 minutes, and we're back.
Welcome to SunnySide. Looking for a fresh start? You've just purchased your first plot of land in an aging post town in the heart of the Japanese countryside. If you're going to succeed, it'll be up to you to create a homestead you can be proud of. Farming and building up your homestead sure is fun, but there are so many exciting ways to develop a thriving business in SunnySide. Chickens, cows, goats, ducks, rabbits. All of these adorable animals can provide you with valuable resources to sell around town or even to vendors in the city. And you can pet them too! Your first step, once appropriate housing is built, is to go see your good neighbor Gabe. He's the only rancher in town, so most of your animals will be coming from him. And while he may sell pet food, he doesn't sell pets. So you'll need to visit the city pet shelter if you want to adopt a loyal friend, or 2, or 5, or 10. Wait for Gabe to deliver your new fuzzy family members, and be sure to keep them fed, watered, and loved so those valuable resources keep coming in. Once collected, these items can be sold as is or processed into high-quality artisan goods like cheese and more. But farm animals and pets aren't the only critters in SunnySide. You'll find plenty of wild animals around town, and sometimes even on your farm. Don't worry though, there are a few ways to keep your homestead safe, whether that's with adequate housing, fences, or even some pets to guard your home, plants, and loyal animals. Keep a close eye or ear out, and you'll encounter all kinds of fauna around town and its surrounding areas. In fact, the local entomologist might need your help collecting research data about all these creepy crawlies. Not into bugs? That's fine. He might still be willing to set you up with a fancy new bee operation anyway. Whatever animals you choose to focus on, SunnySide has opportunities for everyone. Just remember to chase your happy. Your homestead is waiting. Now, animals are great and all, but in the next video, let's see how we can interact with some of the other people in SunnySide, not just pets.
Yes, so that was the third episode of the World of SunnySide series, and that was published alongside a Nintendo Life article, and that one, I believe, covered the interview with Epic Gardening as well, which that was
Yep.
a big announcement that we month. But I feel like one thing that happened was that we announced so much kind of subtly at the same time that that video might have gotten buried underneath all the other announcements. So we wanted to double check to make sure that you guys have all seen it. So, and that one especially covered animals that are probably the most popular part of the game. So yeah, we want.
And also, I think we do this every time, but huge shout out to Madeline Doro for doing those voiceovers for us. I feel like voice actors often don't get the credit that they deserve, and especially when they're doing like things like this. So Madeline Doro is awesome. We love her. She did a great job. She was great to work with. So, but we did want to talk a little bit about the Epic Gardening announcement. I think I feel like it freaked a lot of people out, which we definitely were not expecting.
So I'm gonna let you take it, but quickly just to give we freaked you guys out twice this month.
Yeah.
Once by doing the Epic Gardening announcement, making you guys think that we're making a super realistic farming sim, and then again with the RazorCon video, making you guys again think that we're making a full-on JRPG with battle and none of the farming and the cozy side. So we have some clearing up to do. So Sydney, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So as far as the Epic Gardening stuff goes, it's actually something that we've been working on since Rainy? Like July of last year, I think. Yeah. So it's been well over a year that it's not like we were trying to set up this like thing with them, but like I reached out to Kevin Epic Gardening over a year ago and asked him, if he was interested in really just helping us out, mostly because we had questions and we just needed an expert who we could go to ask them. And so he liked the project. He thought it was cool and joined our Discord and was like helping us with stuff. And I was randomly messaging him all the time with questions about plants. And so the partnership with Kevin and Epic Gardening has actually been going on for a long time. We just didn't announce it. We had some like legal stuff to work out, and he had some stuff he had to work out, and he got really busy all of a sudden. And so we just announced it in October, and then it made it seem like we were like changing the game and like suddenly making everything hyper realistic, which is not the route that we're going. So nothing's really changing. It was more just like, hey, remember like a long time ago when I said we were working with a professional? This is who it is. Yay! But you guys have actually seen a lot of the influence from him already. The hose actually came from watching an Epic Gardening video on YouTube. That's where the idea came from. He has a really cool product on his farm called a hose link, and I was like, that's cool. And that's where the idea came from when Rainy and I were having our discussion about like watering and stuff like that. So there's that. There's like the water collection tank is kind of modeled after the one he actually has on his farm. A lot of like the stages of produce or like how crops grow is from conversations with Kevin. And so it's something that you guys have already seen the results of, and now we're just at a place where we can talk about it and we can actually like poke each other on Twitter and stuff and be like, hey, yay, you are awesome. So didn't want to freak anybody out. Nothing's changing. It's not that big a deal, but it's also just really exciting. So no worries.
Yeah, we're not making it super. It's all going to be within the frame.
Some of the videos some of the comments we were seeing were like people freaking out about like, oh no, hyper realistic farming and they're going to be doing bugs and weeds.
What I found funny is that we did that and everybody was like, oh, another farming sim, damn it. And then we did the JRPG video and everybody was like, oh no, where's the farming sim?
Yeah.
But thankfully, I'm playing some background music. So let me know if it's either too loud or too quiet. So. Yes.
But yeah, Doc, how the plants go to seed, that was inspiration from watching him do a video about, I think it was sunflowers. He did this whole cool thing about how you can cook and eat the center of a sunflower. And I was like, that's really cool. What else can we do with seeds in the game? And then he did like a whole other thing about like loofah seeds. And I was like, I think this is cool. So I went and researched a whole bunch of it. and then poked Rainy, and I was like, hey, we should do this cool thing where plants like give you seeds.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna actually get in depth with that a little bit later. But if you don't mind me kind of messing up the order of these stuff, I'm actually gonna talk about the JRPG thing now as well.
You jerk. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So the other aspect that worried you guys was the fact that SunnySide is becoming a completely different game and not much of a farming sim because of the trailer we showed at RaceCon. So that one included the battle system, no farming in it at all, drone racing, and I just wanted to give some context behind all of those footage that was taken from that. So first of all, the battle system was there from the very start, and it was in the Kickstarter as well. And essentially, the original idea came from keeping a battle system in the game so that you have something to fight in the caves, but kind of going a bit more in depth with it and give it a reason to exist and give it a story. So that's where that whole idea came from. Regarding drone racing, it is just a mini game in the game, and it is something you can initiate, but it's also a yearly event that happens. So that's as much as drone racing goes. It's just a side activity that you can engage with, too. But obviously, the SunnySide is still going to focus mainly as in terms of gameplay loop on the farming as well as animal husbandry. So those two are not going anywhere. Saying those. Yeah. To alleviate any fears about this, this has actually been our worry from day one. With making the game a lot more JRPG, we were worried that we might alienate some of you who just wants to play the farming sim. So at the start of the game, you're going to be faced with an option, unlike Mass Effect 3, how they did that, where you can choose if you want to play in JRPG mode or if you want to play in just farming cozy mode. Farming cozy mode will still have all the stories and stuff, but would not. The battle will not be nearly as demanding. You can just kind of go through it kind of as like be way less battles and stuff to do. The RPG mode will be the full on experience that 10 feet. So that exists as well for those of you who just wants to play the farming sim. I think it's a win-win situation for everybody. So there you go, your fears are alleviated.
Yeah, and just a little bit about like marketing in general for us has been kind of a bit of a roller coaster, trying to figure out what do we show, when do we show it, how do we make sure that we're, leveling out expectations and people aren't like getting overhyped because we don't want like a cyberpunk situation, but then also making sure we show enough that we market correctly. So what happened with this is up until this point, everything we've shown has been exclusively farming animals. And for that reason, with the new trailer, it was kind of like, it's RazorCon, we want to make like a big splash, let's go hard on all the battle. And so I think if you end up getting both pieces separately, it ended up being a little confusing. But if you take it all together, it's a better snapshot of like the entire game. So we're trying. We're trying. But we did want to talk a little bit about the animals video because it was adorable.
Yes. And
because we actually have Ren with us for this one, and he can actually talk about the animals. So, yeah. Ren, if you want to talk about the animals, and just like, because it was the first thing we gave to you. You had like just joined the team, and it was like, hey, you're gonna be making nothing but animals for the next like 6 months. And I know it was a bit much for a while there, but like, I mean, we on the team, we know the process, and I think we've talked about it on stream a little bit, but like, do you want to talk about the process of like taking the assets that we had, those like polygon animals, and structuring them so that they were cute and matched our art style? Do you just want to like talk about how that happened?
Quickly, I forgot to mention, for those team members that are not over here, that might be in the chat. So if you guys spot them, you can talk with them or ask some questions, say hi to them. I just spotted Lauren being in there. Anyway, sorry, Ren, go ahead and tell us about the process of how you approach making animals.
All right. I'm going to be able to share my screen, right?
We said no, but go for it. I think that would be actually so much easier because I cannot have the stuff that you want to show. So go for it.
Yeah.
You probably center on his screen, right? Just while he's talking.
Yeah, just
so
press watch stream and then you should just...
Yeah.
yeah, so let's see here. Share screen, screens.
Oh yeah, Lauren needs a wrench. Somebody give her a wrench.
Yeah.
There we go.
That looks absolutely great on the stream. Go for it.
Yay! So essentially, what we start with is. Let's see, can I find? Can I actually find the base mesh of the thing? Yeah, so for example, we started with a low poly mesh like that we got on the marketplace. Then I would import that into Blender. And then I would kind of shape the thing without changing like the skeleton structure or anything like that. And then I would go into this texturing tool here, and I would essentially retexture it and remodel it. Some people might say that it's just a different skin. It's still a lot of work. And then we would end up with, let's see, you can actually see the, oh yeah, the rolling guy.
The rolly guy.
Yeah.
And we can't really take credit for a lot of the animations. I think some of them we can, but that was part of why you were doing this, right? Was so that we could maintain the animations.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially, I would retexture it, and this is what we would end up with. And then we would be able to basically put this back as how can I change the new mesh? I'm sorry, I wasn't as prepared as I wanted it to be.
It's a chill stream, it's all good. Better.
Yeah, that's fair.
All we need is Rainy's computer to blue screen, and perfect.
No.
It does this and it works. You guys
for the
have
Halloween.
seen it. Yeah. Then essentially, the way that I would texture those is very similar to like this little asset here. Would be I would essentially start with a bunch of colors, a bunch of overlays and effects, and kind of make them look like they're part of a painterly kind of maybe anime kind of thing. So it's usually a mix of procedural and hand-painted stuff. I'm nowhere near as talented as some other digital artists on the team. I believe I only had like 2 weeks of practice before I got into the team, but I think I learned a thing or two. So
you're killing it, dude.
Thank you. And yeah, so end up with little things like that, and then I would import it into the game and be able to use that. Other thing that I've been doing is like the atlases, where I would put a bunch of like textures together so that we can have we can save on space. So it turns out that a texture like this is way more efficient than having a bunch of separated textures. And then Rainy did this really cool thing where I can kind of tile those materials and just like change this so that it would use a different part of it. At the moment, it's not particularly. Oh, yeah, that's because I'm not using the right thing.
Yeah, this is the system that I talked about last time in the stream. Essentially, we had an issue with just how many textures we had in the game loading up. If you guys played the alpha, you'll remember that sometimes the trees would just become blobs in the distance, and it was really hard to see. That was one of the problems that was happening because we had way too many loading up into the map. So this essentially kind of solves that problem.
Yeah.
Lot of tedious work, but
that's pretty much what I've been doing a lot of. And like
honestly,
this is just scratching the surface.
Dude, you've been like, for how like quickly you came on and with the self-taught and like we're always impressed, honestly, and the animals are just such a cool like representation of everything that you've done. But we're gonna come back and talk more about how amazing Ren is. But I remembered that Matt has a little one, and so we don't want to keep Matt too long because we want him to be able to have some family time. So
Yes.
real quick, we're gonna show the new trailer that we were talking about, and then we're gonna let Matt talk a little bit, and then let him go be a family guy. unlike me, I'm just like, meh, stay up late. But so let's show just in case anybody missed it, the RazorCon trailer that we were talking about, the Super JRPG one, and then we'll hop over to Matt. Sound good?
Yep. All right. Watch that.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm Anastasia.
Hi. Yeah, we cut to that, so that's gonna confuse people. Anyway, so that was the RazorCon trailer, not Anastasia, but that's fine. It's fine. There you guys go. So you all are up to speed. I use the word y'all now, and I hate myself for it. I hate you, American.
Pointed out. You actually said y'all.
We're winning.
We're getting him, Liz.
Wow.
We are.
Ren, we're disappointing. We're disappointing ourselves here, Ren. We need to get him to say A.
Hey.
I use A all the time. What are you talking about?
I do, yes.
We gotta rub it off on Rainy.
All right. Anyway,
Apologizing more.
Matt, go ahead and take it away.
Okay.
What do you have for us
greetings from
today?
Nashville, y'all. So we're gonna listen to a bit of music and maybe two themes that are all based on the fall theme. Since it's fall, y'all, we're gonna do that. We're gonna listen to the fall night. We're gonna listen to the fall night theme, which I wrote like pretty much a year ago. I wrote all this it just worked out that I wrote all the seasonal tracks in that season. So about a year ago, I was talking to Rainy and Fem about what this should be. So we have two versions we can check out.
All right, let's go ahead and have a listen, everyone. All right, there we go. Right. Yes. So that was the fall theme, and for the first time, you guys heard the day version. So Matt, do you want to just go through that and give us all the?
Yeah. So we have this. We kind of have this idea to do a day. Well, most of these concepts come from Rainy, but just to do day and night versions of a lot of these themes. So I'm usually just trying to come up in the very beginning, just coming up with a melody or an idea that's going to serve somehow can be arranged for both of those ideas. But at some point, just through all these conversations about music that Rainy and I have, we decided that, chilling out the night themes would kind of indicate a lot of lo-fi sounds that you're hearing, which you're going to hear a lot of that. Basically, almost for every theme you get in the game, there's going to be like a chilled out version that seems pretty lo-fi. And then for the day versions, something that Rainy turned me on to was this genre city pop, which comes from Japan, and it's amazing. And it's basically taken up like all my listening hours for the past 2 years. But so we geek out on that stuff a lot while we're coming up with ideas. But something happened in this one that was pretty cool, where it was kind of like just trying to figure out how can we still make it a little different. And I think Sydney was like, why don't we go acoustic on the night theme, the first one that you all heard? And like, that'll definitely work, but just acoustic. And she's like, what about like that what's that smacky guitar style? Yeah. And it was so funny. Smacky. I just always remember smacky guitar style, because I'm like, yeah, I know, I've never done that, but I know exactly what you mean. There's plenty of musicians that get a good sound out of smacking around, just getting percussion out of hitting the guitar. So all those little pitter patters are just me smacking the body of the guitar, instead of having any kind of drums, which makes the day theme seem that much bigger, because you can just then go from this little bitty sound to a full-on drum set. So I don't know. I think I'm just always excited about, I'll have an idea for a melody, but the arrangements become something I usually don't even expect just from the conversations we have.
Yeah, we do pretty well.
Yeah.
But
I think
me,
as the team, the three of us, obviously the music is really important to Rainy, and it's been his, this is the most important thing about the game. And then Matt, you're obviously, musical freaking genius over here. And I'm just I don't know anything about music, but what about this?
Smacky guitar works, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. So
because I think,
we're a band, is what I'm saying. Somehow.
Yeah, right.
Very true. Yeah. But that smacky guitar thing just gives me the whole campfire vibes, just being sitting around the campfire and just with some friends, and then somebody's playing. Oh, they usually do that, so that's why it just sounds so cozy.
And that was the important thing that I remember. I think our first music meeting, Matt, or the first time you hopped into Discord and talked with Rainy and I remember you talking about how you were outside in the spring trying to get spring inspiration. And ever since then, that's what I was trying to think about every time we went through these seasonal tracks of, if I was outside like Matt, just enjoying the season, what kind of music would I want to kind of make you feel that season? And that's why the smacky guitar thing happened. It's because it just sounded like it would make sense.
Yeah, I was on the phone with you when I finished that one, and I remember just kind of getting a good idea of how to finish that. But luckily, at the time we were doing the seasonal things, we were, I don't want to say moving slower, but there wasn't as much ambition behind the amount of tracks we had to do. There wasn't we increased the volume of tracks significantly. There's going to be close to 50, if not more now, or less, or who knows what that number is? No one knows.
I think you're right. Maybe.
Just make it. Yeah. So
maybe.
Anyway, it's a lot, and it started out pretty small. So we slowed down on the seasonal things quite a bit. So I was really spending a lot of time thinking about those in the season that they were writing. So I have a lot of memories of that too.
I think really the winter one was the best one, because we we hit Christmas, and then we were thinking about what music we should do, and then we just thought it's very good to just do the winter now because we all in the mood for it, and you can. So it kind of the seasonal themes took a year to write because we needed to be in the season for that theme for it to feel right.
Yeah. We'd get a lot done in between them, but there was always I remember very much when those ones happened, just because I was hoping that it would line up with what the weather was doing outside, and it actually did pretty well, which is awesome.
The winter is my favorite, I think. I think it's one of your favorites too, right, Matt?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. The winter night, I think, is really special.
Yeah.
And again, that's,
because
I don't know if we can go into it too much, but it's one that I have a couple reasons why I think it's just, again, it's different from the others.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it a little bit, because what you were saying earlier about how with the other seasonal themes, it feels like daytime, and then the night themes are all kind of lo-fi. And I remember when we were doing the winter theme, we inversed them.
Mm-hmm.
Because the idea was that when you're outside during the day in the winter, it's cold, you don't want to be outside, but at night, you go inside, you're with your family, you're by a fire, and so we wanted to flip it and kind of give those warm, cozy sounds to the night theme instead. And it's
right, exactly
so good.
And again, that wasn't, I just had the idea for a melody and the changes in the composition, but those arrangement ideas happened just in a great conversation about like, well, what makes these two, day and night things different? So, and it was, that's again, I remember that conversation really well, just because I thought, I was not about to do that. I was going to stick to this little, just exactly. I was just going to stick to this little formula. And I think the lo-fi thing, I think it, again, I didn't listen to lo-fi music before working on SunnySide, and it was kind of funny. Rainy was a fan. He liked it a lot, and he was sending me all this stuff like, what do you think of this? And again, I was just also noticing as I'm not a gamer, but I love video games, especially the ones I grew up with, which I think are a lot of classic Nintendo stuff. But nowadays, noticing that people will often turn off the soundtrack that comes with the game and turn on lo-fi music was kind of like a spot where I was like, well, hold up.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
We'll just give it to you. Here, have it.
Let's do it. That's fine. That's totally fine. And in the process, I love lo-fi now. I didn't like it that much, but now I've become a real big fan, and it's just
we converted him, Rainy.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
One of
lo-fi
us.
and
One of us.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just another style of music, and there's so much that you can do with it, and it helps distinguish all these different moods.
Yeah. Well, you're awesome. We say it all the time. We're so lucky to have you.
We're more
Thank
we
you
talk
guys.
about
and just to
go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. I was just going to say, I if you all see me in the chat, you'll see me as Jelly Fox, just because that's where I release music under the name Jelly Fox. They call me Matt in all the social stuff. So just to make sure that's not confusing, always happy to talk to the community about whatever, especially the music stuff going on. And also like just always grateful to be able to do this. This is amazing. I could go on and pour that, excitement all back on this team too, but we don't have time.
We need a music podcast of our own at just sitting here.
It'd be you two would be great for that, and then you could throw me in there, the person who's nothing about music.
I love it. That helps. It's so important. It helps.
Well,
Matt, I still want to know when you're coming to the Toronto area, man.
When are we touring?
Don't know. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. That's a long way from Nashville, but hopefully soon.
Yeah. Just to sing a little bit more of Matt's praises, if anybody is not already listening to his stuff on Spotify or YouTube Music too, the Jelly Fox stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Spotify, YouTube Music, I think Apple too, anywhere you can get the music stuff. Just type in Jelly Fox and you'll find his album. It's called Holy Moly, right? And it's amazing, and I listen to it all the time, and I make all my friends listen to it, and when we go on car rides, I make them listen to it, and It's the best. So if you guys aren't already rocking out to Matt's music on a daily basis, what are you doing with your life? And then Matt, also, you have a band?
I do have a band. It's a very specific type of band, though. It's a tribute band to the music of the Beach Boys, and I've been doing it a long time. So if you like the Beach Boys, you might like what we do.
Yeah, so
It's called
if
it's called Sail On, the Beach Boys tribute.
If you live in
you
the
wanna
States,
track down
you're
his-
lucky enough to be able to catch him live. So follow him on Instagram, and he usually posts there when.
find his
going on.
website, find out where
And
they're
if you like
touring
the Beach
to.
Boys, we can talk for ages because that's my favorite band.
Yes.
I
Well,
also just
Matt-
wanted to give a shout out to the people who played on the Autumn Day theme.
Oh yeah.
I have their names here. I don't want to
Good
pronounce
job.
anything incorrectly. Matt, do you want to say them or should I say them?
I can do it. Yeah. So on the night theme, we have that's me and it's just me and one other person who's the keyboard player that we've been using a lot. His name's DeMarco Johnson, Nashville player, amazing guy, the nicest guy. Called me on my birthday just to say hi, happy birthday, and then we have on the day theme, DeMarco's also playing piano on that, and then the drummer is a drummer that you'll hear all across this soundtrack. He's an old friend of mine, also in Nashville, named Tom Myers. And the saxophone is a fellow named Max DeBoren, all Nashville. So
yeah, I
there you
also
go.
wanted to
Hopefully
just
when we
flex
get a
about
band,
the
we
fact
can-
that how many players we have on every.
Yeah, there's a
It's
lot.
good music.
Yeah, I play what I can. I play guitar, bass, and I'll sing a bit, but all that other stuff is just incredible players helping me actually make it sound like real music.
Well, you guys do a fantastic, stellar job.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Matt, we don't want to
alright.
keep you too long. So he's got an adorable son who is dressed up as Baby Shark.
Do
Halloween.
Don't do
And
that.
the stream is down.
And the stream is down.
It's just like unplugs the computer, throws it out the window.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. I have just now resigned from RainyGames, so let's see it.
You heard it here
I would
first.
like to
Okay.
retract my doo-doos.
Right. All right. Well, this team is great. The community, you all are amazing. Happy to be on this stream, but we'll hopefully we'll talk soon.
All right, see you around.
Bye, Matt.
Bye, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
See ya.
We're so lucky
Okay.
to have Matt.
We were supposed to tell you guys if you have questions for him to ask away before he
Oh, yeah, we
goes
forgot.
away, but we forgot to do that.
Rip.
He usually types those, so if you ask the question, but feel free to go ahead and do that.
Yep.
I think next up is me. We're gonna talk about some mechanics in the game, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some game stuff.
Just don't get too technical. This is a night stream. We don't want to put him to sleep.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
So,
Right. So
just, you know.
yeah. So as our tradition is, we have been expanding some of the older systems, fixing them, making them more polishing them. So alongside those systems, there were 3 systems that we had to focus on, kind of from the feedbacks from the alpha, as well as the fact that we just wanted to. Yeah. So they include farming, cooking, and fishing. And I'll go through them one by one. You guys can know what we've done for each one. So farming, when we're calling all of these 2.0 versions of the system. You okay, Kenna?
Nothing happened.
We're just
Don't
gonna pretend. Okay.
You saw nothing.
Farming 2.0. So the main thing about the farming that is changed, and you guys might find this as a unique new thing in the farming genre for SunnySide, is the fact that now every crop in the game can have multiple products at multiple stages in its life cycle. And these products will not necessarily remove the crop from the ground, but they will just be something you can. A very good example of this, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not good at this, is garlic, where midpoint through its growth, you pick up a product from it called garlic seed.
Scapes. Garlic scapes.
And then it's just something you get out of the crop and it doesn't go away. So we wanted to allow the farming system give you different produces at different. So that's how that works. Alongside of that, we obviously polished it further, and it's a tiny detail, but every crop in the game now procedurally and randomly spawns fruit separate from every other crop. So repetition has gone down to looks really wild. In addition to that, and I think we showed this before, but I'm just going to echo it again. Now in the game, we have, obviously before we had the ground crops, then we had trees. We have adjusted the size of the plots so that the plots for the crops and trees are a little, just so that it's easier to target them. We also just wanted to buy ourselves some to be able to play, but it's going to be a difference, like say 1,800. But now we also have the middle point where there are certain crops like corn which grow in bunches, and to actually harvest them you need to have your nata do. That's farming 2.0. It's a lot more open. It's a lot easier for us to it's a lot easier for us to implement, but it's not hugely.
All the water. All the water.
Yes. And you guys talked about pollinating, so I'll just remind you guys again that we have beekeeping in the game. We showed it before. And the beekeeping and the bee you get, the honey you get at the end is dependent on what crops and flowers are. What are they called? Like houses?
Apiaries.
That.
Hive.
Oh,
or
yeah,
hives. Hive
is
works
much
too.
Easier. Yes, thank you.
The one bee, right? Just the one bee.
Just the one bee. He's like, oh, okay, what do we have here? Oh,
Working
nice. Turnip honey.
Working his stinger off.
Just flowers. No, not the crops. You can't get turnip honey. So that's farming 2.0. In addition to that, we have done cooking 2.0. So this is a fun one. I can't show it, can I? I really wish I could. So now we have a rice cooker. We have a kettle. We have a stand mixer and a food processor. All new cooking items. And that pretty much concludes all of the cooking appliances we have in the game. Alongside the stove and the ovens that you're going to be having access to in the base game. The main difference between the cooking system is that if you played the alpha, it was a bit annoying that you would have to prepare some of the foods before you could cook them. So if you wanted to just say, let's look at IRL, like real life, how you do it. If you wanted to cook a steak and then put some pepper and some soy sauce in it while it's cooking in the pan, you couldn't do that in the game. You would have to prepare it beforehand and then put it in the pan. But as you can imagine, that system generates a crap ton of inventory items that are just there for the sake of having a middle item. So let's say you want to make a stir fry. Instead of being able to mix everything into the pan itself, you would have to prepare it beforehand and then put it in the pan. Like you would have, essentially you would have to have an inventory item called stir fry uncooked. So now the only difference is
bad design. Who designed that crap? That was a horrible design. I don't know who thought of that nonsense.
I don't remember. So now the only difference is the fact that on the actual cooking appliance itself, so on the pan, you get a little mixing wheel, and that wheel will allow you to mix as many ingredients as you want right on the stove itself. So you know that middle step makes it easier on us because we don't have to model and make inventory items for middle items. Make it easier for you guys because you don't steps. Put it on. Another very good example of it is that imagine a rice cooker. You would have to mix your rice and water beforehand if you want salt and oil. Beforehand and then put it in the rice cooker, but now you can just put everything in the rice cooker.
Nice.
That's
as QA, I thank you.
yes. And as somebody who doesn't really want to get too deep into the cooking, I think I'll because we realized some of you guys really don't want to do that. So, okay.
Well, it also, I mean, it saves Ken and Ren, who were going to be modeling all this food, now don't have to do it. We're just using the icons. So, I mean, it shaved off hundreds of hours of work for the two of you guys. So now you can do more fun stuff like, you know, animating and atlasing and other important things.
Lots of work. And then lastly, we have fishing 2.0. So again, for those of you who played the alpha, you'll be delighted to know we have changed the way fishing works. You don't have to spam the click forever. It was never going to stay. So now it works a lot similarly to something like Red Dead Redemption, where you cast your line, you will wait for a bite. The bite will not be automatic. You will get a little prompt and have a very short amount of time. Click, fish goes away, you get more time. The better you're fishing, or the better you. And then you will go into the mini game as soon as the fish bites, where the fish will splash around and struggle. You will have to just not do anything. The fish is struggling. As soon as the fish is tired and struggling, you can then start pulling. But as soon as the fish starts struggling again, you have to let go of the click. Otherwise, the fish. And it's just a hold. Hold the click. The click. You have to hold the left mouse button. Reel in. Let go and in. Much simpler.
Can I poke at that a little bit? Because it actually sounds really good. So as everybody on the team knows, I don't do it so much since I moved to Canada, but I used to hobby fish a lot, both off the shore and deep sea, and that is exactly how it is. It's like they call it fighting the fish when you're doing that, because you gotta let the fish fight a little bit. You gotta exhaust it, and when it gives you that slack, that's when you pull it in. So doing a system like that is it's a lot more true to how fishing actually is. You can only do so much in a game, especially when it's not surrounded around fishing. But when you kind of put in just the pure fundamentals of the fishing, it actually makes it very enjoyable for someone who hobby fishes as well.
Yeah.
Kyle's been our unofficial fishing expert.
No, I really appreciate that because I mean, going off of Red Dead, I already had the idea that that's probably realistic. The only difference in Red Dead that they do that we couldn't do for the sake of time was that you would also have to pull against, or like you have to hold against where the fish is struggling so that the fish doesn't take the line.
Yeah.
So that's the only part we're not doing. That's great to hear.
Pull back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds a lot
Big
of physical
stretch.
work fishing.
It can be like if you ever go deep sea fishing. I've actually, I'm not going to say someone, it was my dad. We were doing a junior fishing contest, and one of the guys' lines goes, this little kid hops in, he's like, oh boy. And then we just see a blue marlin just leap out of the water, and my dad's like, get out of the chair. And he fought that thing. He fought that thing for like 45 minutes. Like, these things don't come in easy. Like, you're like 30 minutes to 2 hours of fighting when you're deep sea fishing. And like, he's doing this on a junior fishing rod, so the line is not blue marlin. So it's like 45 minutes in, and all of a sudden you just see my dad just kind of slump down into the chair, because it can be exhausting. Like, it's really strenuous.
When we were first researching all the fish, Kenna and I, because Kenna's like our kind of catch-all. She does a little bit of everything. And one of the main things she helps us with is research, because it just takes so much time. And we were looking at like alternative ways of fishing, which we're not going to go into too much because I don't want to spoil anything that might come later. But we were looking at like, okay, what are all the different types of fishing and how can we play with those? And one of the ones that always fascinated me was for anybody who's interested in like learning about fishing, there's a really great Netflix series. It's like The Biggest Catch or something. It's like follows this one dude who like travels the world and like tries to catch these crazy fish. But this dude fishes without a pole. It's like just the line. Have you ever done that, Kyle?
Yeah. So you could do it if sometimes just the bottle. So we used to wrap line around a plastic bottle. We just call it line fishing.
Kai's like, I've done that. Y'all are crazy.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I don't have a fishing rod. So it's like, I have a water bottle, I have fishing line, just wrap it around and just like fling the line. And yeah, you fish like that. It hurts like hell.
Yeah.
But after a while, you get used to it. And the good thing of actually doing it that way too is you kind of have more feel, because when you're fishing with a fishing rod, sometimes you feel a little jitter. But sometimes that could even just be the wind blowing over the surface of the water that causes a little bit of jitter on your line. But when you're and you have that line just running over your finger into the water, anything that fish does to the hook, you feel it instantly. So like if you know if that fish has it in the mouth, you yank it right away. Whereas if a rod, you don't have that natural feel.
You're
That
setting
makes
this
sense.
too well.
Okay.
I want to go fishing with you. God damn it.
Sorry, we didn't mean to turn this into a fishing stream, but it's interesting. So yeah, so with everything, it's always important that we like. How do I like? We want the hobbyists of these things to see it in the game and be like, oh, they actually thought about. That's why I was really particular about the cooking system. It's like
the brewing.
Anybody
as well,
who
especially,
cooks,
making the beers.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah, there are certain games that I'm not going to mention that have just horrible cooking systems. And as a cook, or as a chef, I'm just like, this is
GTA
dumb.
5.
Like, this is not how you do this. And so same thing with like fishing and the farming, and like I don't want anybody coming at us and being like, it's not how it goes.
Yeah.
So also I turned up the light because Bagheera is being like insanely adorable right now. So I don't know if you guys have seen this, but sorry, just saying how cute he is.
And and you guys know, like the reason Lauren is crying about the fact that there's fish, because she's the one that's been making the icons.
She's drawing them.
Yeah, she's drawing the icons. She's very good at just putting faces in things, including fish.
So good though.
Yeah,
it is
so good.
I feel like
I
every
caught fish and they all just look like dead fish, but she draws a fish and it's like, I want to name them. I want to go and hang out with these fish.
What were you saying,
that
Liz?
one fish, what happened to it?
I feel like every icon looks like my personal icon. Like everyone's like, oh, like you just caught them, like red-handed. In the cookie jar.
Bruh. I was looking to see if I could find them, but I really don't know where they are on my PC.
Oh no,
we
gotta
have them
find
as
them.
yeah, we have them as emotes. Emotes. If anybody wants to send it to
Emotes.
me,
Emotes.
They look so uncomfortable and it's fantastic.
It's really the
Well,
best.
There's a Glad one. The Glad one doesn't look that uncomfortable.
I'm just putting them in the stream Q&A thread.
I'm gonna open this. If
Rainy.
you guys been talking behind people's backs, well, that's it's these, and they're great. Glad and oh no, or no, unsure.
Unsure.
Oh no is Liz's one.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna move on to the next one, which I can actually show you guys the engine for. So let's hop into the engine. Also, can we just quickly talk about the settings app as well, because we've been talking about it for the longest time, but we never showed it.
The settings app?
Yeah, with the phone background.
No. Nope.
Why?
Nope. Wasn't approved.
We talked about it.
Nope.
Battery.
Nope. 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 I know I'm a total jerk. We're talking about Squirrel though.
Yes, so we're talking about Squirrel. So
I'll let you show something.
yes.
This one I'm excited about because it's so visually awesome that we haven't been able to show it, and we finally got approval to show it. So there's some killer art that I really want everybody to see. I'm really excited about.
Also, don't worry about what's happening in the background. Everything's
Yeah, ignore all that.
so Squirrel. And I have a text coming in from Akira, which is your sibling in the game. Not important. We're just going to use it as a dummy to see how the texting works. So I'm going to use the debug menu to add all the contacts to my phone. Obviously, the way we are doing this whole thing, there it is. Usually, how it is in a farming sim or any game with a social sim is that you have a friends list somewhere, like a list of the characters that you know and like what your friendship level with them is. We just change that into the part of the Squirrel Messenger app as just your contacts. So as soon as you meet an NPC, instead of just getting a journal entry, it just adds it to your actual contacts. So if I go ahead and open up Squirrel now, which is down here, this is the app. Haven't been able to talk about it, but here it is. It was the messages for those of you alpha. But if I open this up, I have in the chat just my text messages, which is from Kira. We'll have a look at that in a second. But to the left of that, I have all of the characters that I know. So these are obviously all the characters from around the game. Any character that would message you would show up here as a contact. So you can see SunnySide Co. is even here, but I can't click on it. They don't have actually a profile. But one thing that I like to just highlight quickly is the beautiful art that Liz has done for these characters, the chibis, for the faces. See, some of them are missing because I didn't add them to the end. But if I open, for instance, Cat's profile, get up here nicely, and it's a bit more comprehensive in terms of the details of the NPCs. So this is essentially their profile, their social profile. So you can see their username, you can see their bio, what they do, when their birthday is, even like followers and following. And this actually is dependent on how popular that person is. Who's one with a lot of followers? Do you guys know? Mez.
After that's probably Hanako.
Hanako's got 5.7k. He's popular. Hanakoala. And down here, you might have noticed there's this little. This is your friendship indicator. I think that's a good word for it. Essentially, it starts out on an acorn and then it grows up to be a full tree. As the more you get in the friendship. And
before you deep dive the art, because I do really want to show all of it, I kind of want to give Kenna a shout out. All of the like metadata that you guys see, the follower counts, the descriptions for the shops in the map app, the like Google reviews, all that stuff is Kenna. She's writing all that. So like she's the one who's determining in like spreadsheets like how many followers would people have and how popular are they and what would their screen name be. And I think Liz helped you with the screen names too, or Laura or somebody, right? Liz did. Yeah. So
they're
from the.
It's like it's one of those things that adds so much flavor and personality, and like I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to like it's cool. The birthdays and all that stuff. So just like shout out to Kenna. Okay, back to the art.
Yeah, so I'm gonna open up the art, and the art is done by Kaori, which is in here. So shout out to her for doing that. Your romance points will also show up as butterflies, which second. But shout out to Liz for this. Do you wanna just give us a quick note on making these? I think how did it even start out? I think we just asked you to make like an emoji for us.
Was it Laura?
Who was this?
Who drew these?
Who's
I
this?
don't
Who
know.
was this, Rainy?
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, I did the.
Was it Liz? It was Liz. Yes.
Yeah, the little face icons, and Laura did all of the tree. I like the art for the tree and everything. But yeah, basically we were just
the one who concepted.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Team effort.
Yeah. And basically it came out, we were in a team meeting, and I think Rainy, you just sent me a thing like, can you do something like this of Hero? And I was like, yeah, I can. But I think he expected it like a day or two later, and then like I just popped it right back to him during the meeting because I was doodling during the meeting. And then suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, can we have one of everyone? And then like he was like, oh, I need that for my profile. And Fem was like, I need Kaida for my profile. So they've been a little bit all over the map, but it's been a lot of fun, and it goes pretty quick. So.
Trying to grab them. There they are. So kind of see how they are laid out. Don't worry about the YMC in the background. What I do to keep myself entertained. So it goes from friendship point 0, and then it kind of just moves on, and you can see the tree kind of goes further and further with the relationship. And then there are these butterflies that will show up on the tree as you go through the. And that's also another note to the fact that the romance points are separate from friendship points.
Those
and
look
the art
so
is
good.
so cool.
They look so good.
It's been such a team effort. As again, I like to just clear it up. Pretty much, yeah. Liz did all of the chibis, and then Kaori concepted those friendship point indicators, and then Laura finished them off. So like a whole team process. We do this quite often, actually. So the Halloween art that you guys saw, Liz concepted that, and then Lauren did the line work, shading, and everything. And then I did the backgrounds.
Actually, yeah, it's actually
Well,
really,
I helped.
good.
You did help. You took the backgrounds.
I took the background shot.
That is good.
It's actually a really good workflow, honestly, because I really enjoy throwing out like those sketches really quick, and but I don't like being bogged down with some like the little detail work. And I was talking with Lauren at some point, and she told me that she prefers doing the lines and the colors, and rather than concepting from scratch like that's her preferred thing. So that's really just like it, two pieces of a puzzle there in terms of workflow. And then Rainy with his background and design and everything, like was able to put it all together, and just everybody as a whole. But yeah, we do that for like not everything, every single project,
We
basically.
Usually what happens is Rainy and I will have some kind of meeting of, okay, what do we want this to do? What do we want this to be? What do we want this to look like? So for the Squirrel app, it was, okay, what are we going to use for a tracker? How do we want to do this? And one of us, we never remember who it is, but one of us decided, let's just do an oak tree because of the theme of the game. And then we gave that to Cowrie and Liz and Laura and Lauren and the art team, and just kind of like, okay, this is what we want to do. Here's how we want it to work. Go forth and make it awesome. And then they work together and they make it awesome. So it's really cool from our perspective for Rainy and I to be like, here's this weird idea that we have, and then seeing it come to life. It was the same thing with the characters when you and I were working on them, Kenna. It was like, okay, here's kind of how we want them to look. And then what we like threw a bunch of pictures together. It was so long ago.
Yeah, we both threw in our own kind of idea of how we thought these characters would look and how they would dress and the research images. And some of them were from me, some of them were from you. And then those were handed off to Cowrie. And then she did her interpretation of that. So it's really a lot of everyone and everything in the game.
And it's cool to watch. It's cool to watch, like, you guys, the artists, like, just pluck it out of our heads. And just like, here's the thing. I'm always amazed by it.
Because another cool thing about it is that obviously when an artist takes over a task that came from somebody else's mind, they add a bit of themselves to it. And the more people it goes through, it gets more flair from everybody and more personalities. That's also very cool.
I always find it really fun because there's been so much work done early on when it comes to the characters and who they are and their personalities. That just oftentimes, at least for me, I can't speak for everybody, but I imagine it might be similar for the other artists, but it just gives them so much life that it's not hard at all to imagine these characters together, how they would interact with each other and what their chemistry would be like. So to be able to just scribble something out isn't, just exclusively from our own heads. It came from, all of the, setup, the character building and everything that, Kenna and Fem and everybody have done before then. So
although
it's a lot of fun.
Is brilliant. So even if we did our jobs not that great, I'm sure Liz, you, Cowrie, Laura, you guys would just be amazing.
Fill it in. Fill in our gaps.
Yeah.
That actually... Go ahead.
Yeah, I always say, like, I would be watching Liz streaming her doing her work, and I'd be like, I'll look over to do something for like 30 seconds, and I look back, and a masterpiece is formed. Just like,
You guys think the stick figures are masterpieces.
Our favorite thing. So this happens in meetings all the time. So if you guys don't really know this, but we have meetings every Monday to kind of let the team go over, here's what I worked on, here's how it's part of the game. We can all kind of give feedback and stuff, and we really work together on Mondays to make sure everything looks good. And Liz is always like, oh, I'm not going to show the art that I did because it's just like scribbles. You guys don't need to see it. And I'm always like, no, show it. And so she'll show it, and we all just fall in love with it, and we're like, it's the best thing ever! And it's like a little, like, 4-circle cow or something. And we're just like, yes, it's the best!
Really good.
Because it's cute.
And honestly, I can say, like, it has helped me as an artist so much be comfortable with sharing even the early sketches and those awful little stick figures early on, because every time I show them and they're celebrated, because you guys can see the vision. And that's something that you guys have. Even if I don't have faith in where this is going, you guys do, and it keeps us going. So it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, stick figures are masterpieces.
We're gonna move on to
yeah, they are
properly, but right before we do that, I just wanted to also show how that texting has just got a few upgrades. So this is the squirrel texting again, Akira, and first thing you notice is that there are emojis. So currently we have it so that NPCs can send you emojis in their messages, and this is just a test one I have here. We can make our own later, up in the air if we want to.
He's really excited about this, guys. I just want you to know that this is something that he fought me over constantly, that he wanted emojis, and I was like, it's not important. Nobody's going to care. But
It's
he fought
flavor,
for you
man.
guys.
It's flavor.
So I just want you to know.
And another cool thing is the NPCs can now send you photos. So click on this one. I get a test photo of Akira. Just send me. As you can imagine, it's much easier to make NPCs send you photos than for the player to send photos. Then we need to make a whole photo selection system and all that stuff. But if an NPC is sending you a photo, we just kind of So for now, we've done it so that NPC can send you photos, and it'll be a fantastic tool of storytelling for Sydney. So that is the last bit that I have. Also, these are the new UIs that I was talking about. For example, all upgrade. Right, so we are going to move on to art, which is Dora.
Mostly, I think I just want you guys to talk about like art in general. If you guys want to show anything that you've done in the last week, cool. You don't have to. But you guys are awesome. Art is great. Laura, did you want to show anything?
I can share my birds.
Yeah, share your birds.
Yeah.
Share
Okay,
the
everybody,
birds.
keep in mind that I am not. I don't know anything about birds, so I'm aiming for accuracy. But
No, she's giving this setup and she's downplaying it. They're awesome. They're awesome.
I'm hoping it's showing correctly.
So just a bit of context, this is going to be part of the new critter scanning system that you guys saw in the RazorCon trailer. There's going to be a critter log, which will log out all of these birds and insects and stuff that you scan from around the world. These will be the images that you will see in the app. Go ahead, Laura.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
That's really it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
think
that
that's
one.
a recurring theme.
Yeah, a
Team
little chubby
that,
bird.
like, we're downplaying a lot of the stuff that we do, and then everyone else like, what are you talking about? Straight.
Yeah. We need to up each other.
Well, it really is. It's like it's not necessarily so much. I guess it just feels like a community a little bit because like we all like geek out over each other's stuff all the time, and it doesn't matter what it is. Like one of the best things is being able to show a piece of your art and having somebody else like, oh my gosh, like that's our characters. It's like it's fan art, but it's like no wait, it's canon. Like it's
that actually is funny because Laura and Liz were both Kickstarter backers, if I remember right. And so
Liz wasn't.
and it's the same.
Aren't we all?
Yes, it was.
Were you?
Yeah, Liz was.
How dare you?
Oh, good. We took you
Yeah.
away. Good.
I think the only people who weren't were Kai, Ren, and Kenna, but I was Kickstarter backer too.
Technically, I was backer kit. Just
okay, close enough,
Yeah,
and but just like what?
I was a fan of the YouTube tutorials that Rainy was putting on.
That's right.
YouTube.
Yeah. Oh my god, awful
That's right.
tutorials.
And I had
Oh,
no
that's
idea
right.
what I was getting into. That was fun.
Ren joined the
your
team
stories.
with pizza as payment. We'll get into that in a bit.
And that's not good payment. I would take it.
But speaking of, sorry, I don't want to cut you off. I want you to finish what you were saying. Or is that done?
I was just gonna talk about the pizza contract, but no, it's okay. Go ahead.
Pizza contract's coming up later.
Yeah.
I wanted to just talk about how Liz joined the team because we're gonna talk with Liz in a minute. So you all are acquainted with what we call the walk as the artwork of the game. It was the Steam's banner thing that we had. If you go on the store that we have, it's still the banner game's name. That was what Liz did. So how did we even find Liz in the first place? Is that if you go way back, if you go way back into the fan art channel, you will actually find the very first message Liz sent, which was a fan art of Gabe and Lucy. So we saw that. We absolutely loved it. I didn't do anything about it because I am socially awkward. But Sydney went ahead and messaged Liz and said, hey, this is really good. And I don't exactly remember how that conversation went, but it ended up with Liz.
Me either.
Yeah, it ended up
I
with
do.
commissioning Liz. Oh, go first.
Tell us, Liz.
Tell us, yeah.
Yeah, it was an email, and I missed a contest deadline, but I had saw Gabe and Lucy. I was like, oh, what a sweet father-daughter like duo there, and I wanted to draw them, so I drew them, even though I missed the deadline by like a day or something, and I posted it, and I was like, I just want them to have it because it's cute. And then Fem like messaged me she started messaging me or emailing me, and she was like, how long did it take you to do that? And I was like, oh, just so it's an hour. She's like, no, tell me literally, because we might,
need to know.
So yeah, we need to
If
know.
you're fast, I'm hiring you.
Fast hand.
So I'm not sure if I won or lost some contest situation there.
I think technically you weren't part of the contest because I hired you before it was over.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Did I win or did I lose?
Yeah, technically, I don't know.
You won the secret
Good
prize.
job.
You won a job.
You understood the assignments. Let's just say that.
Yeah, for sure.
No, it was really, really fun. Yeah.
And yeah, so Liz joined after that, and she did that walk piece, which was fantastic. We were actually at the time struggling to find somebody who could join the artist because Kaori was already fully booked with all the character portraits that you guys have seen in the game. She couldn't do it, so we had to find somebody else. We did try with a few different people, and the quality was very much not on par with what Liz did. So when Liz came on and she did that piece of art, we were just so extremely happy. And while Liz and Kaori's art styles, or Liz manages to do a good job of doing Kaori's art style pretty well, I feel like it still has its own flavor, especially with the facial expression. Liz has a thing for the surprised Pikachu face.
Which is my general life like
it's an
style.
upside down D, I just noticed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Secrets are revealed.
Yeah, that's how I live my life. That face constantly.
So that's what Liz joined the team for, but you go ahead.
We got lucky with all of our artists. I mean, Kaori was
I need to tell the story.
Yeah.
So sorry again, segue.
No, it's true. I wasn't there.
Yeah, this is not pre Kickstarter.
It's
pretty much
it's
right
PS,
after
it's
Kickstarter.
pre-Sid.
Pre-Sid, yeah. Then what was it? Anyway, so we we needed a character modeler. So I was looking around Twitter as well as DeviantArt. That was a mistake. As well as Sketchfab and all these other websites. So I found a few people who wanted to do the character art for me, and I'm talking about 3D character art. I couldn't do it. You guys remember the Kickstarter trailer was made off of
VTube.
No,
VTubers.
Vroid.
That's
God,
it, yeah.
why did you guys fund this project? I don't know. But I used Vroid characters to just fill in the world because I couldn't make character models. So
it's actually a little bit better than it used to be now. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So I need the character modeler. So I contacted a few people. I don't think I actually even told Sid, but a few people came back to me. There was I didn't realize, but a few of those people were actually. So I got quoted thousands of dollars for every character, like $5,000 to like $8,000 per character. Which was just absurd.
Right.
Yeah, it was crazy. And somebody actually quoted me that same exact amount. 2D portraits, like stuff that Kaori does, which again, nothing to Kaori, but that's a lot of money. And like obviously any iteration where you need more, so it just wouldn't work out. So I found this person on Sketchfab, Alan, obviously in the team, you guys know him, and he had some really good looking characters on Sketchfab. So I messaged him and I said, hey, I have this game we're working on, do you join up the project as the character? And I really needed somebody to kind of join the team rather than to, like a one. So Alan joined. That was great. We started working together. If you guys go back and look like devlog number 1, see the very first iteration of the player character, frizzy hair and the the yellow and black. So you find that one, and then we were making clothing for the character, and what I was using as concept or reference were Google image results. So I would just look up cute anime winter outfit, be like, oh, that one looks good. I would send it to Alan and be like, hey, can we make this? And he'd be like, okay. I feel bad for him, so sorry about that, Alan. But one day he messaged me. I think he just had enough. So he just messaged me and said, hey, so we need a concept artist. This is not gonna work out well. Because like he would ask me about different characters, and instead of me giving him concept for them, I would just explain their personality. Yeah, that's great. And so he said, yeah, we need the concept artist. And I was like, I really need one, and I cannot find one. I need a 2D artist as well for the portraits. So he just came back to me and said, hey, my partner does that. So do you want her to join? I was like, hell yeah. So that's when Kaori joined the project. And honestly, that pretty much changed the whole quality level of the game right after that point. We just went so much higher as soon as Kaori joined with her amazing portrait. Because I wanted her to imitate Persona level portraits, and I think we are absolutely on par with us. And in some
100%.
aspects, yeah, and in some aspects, I feel like we have a bit of a different shading. Maybe the characters are a bit more shiny, but she did a fantastic job. And you know, I think if there is, well, there are many areas that I think SunnySide is above other farming sims, but this one I can absolutely say without a doubt we are definitely far above our competition when it comes to the character. How beautiful.
Well,
so,
if we're comparing to
Kaori
Persona, our models are certainly better too.
Persona has simpler models. That's models.
Yeah, kills me.
The eyes. I don't like the eye spaces.
Yeah.
It's the cheaper ones. Anyway, so that's how Kaori joined the project, and then from then on, it would take a whole like hours for me. That's but to circle back to Liz, Liz joined up to do the walk art. We loved it too much, so we kept Liz on a leash to do the rest of the art for us. But she does more stuff.
I'm a little bit everywhere here and there. I don't know. I know that sometimes, like, so I'll do key art, I do some concept art, which I can say the name, but not the individual names, right?
Correct.
The Ancients, which was not exclusively mine. That was definitely something that was the brainchild of like several members of the team, and I believe you specifically.
Kind of. It was again, Kenna did like all the research, and then she and I had some meetings where we laid out, okay, who's everybody gonna be? What are they gonna do?
I came back to you with like,
yeah, you came back with so much. And I was like, no, we're gonna break this up.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's pretty obvious to everybody where we got the idea for some of the I saw in the RaiserCon. Obviously, extensively researched Japanese and got points. But the original document for the research, gigantic, and Japan
enormous.
Has some weird folklore that is just crazy. Like anyway.
So I went through with Kenna and pulled out the stuff that we thought was going to work and link up with what our plans were for the caves. And then we didn't, I mean, I don't want to tell you guys too much about it, but there wasn't really anything reference wise on the internet to like give to an artist and be like, here's what we want it to look like. You guys kind of saw it, you know, they're robotic, but they're also not robotic. They're kind of this weird. And so we had to like put these crazy image, you know, groups together and then like describe what we wanted them to do and what we wanted them to be. And then give them to poor Liz and be like, okay, Liz, pull this out of your head and let's see what you come up with.
And my favorite thing... yeah, well, my favorite thing is when we go to a team meeting and I get to present the concept for this new ancient, and then like Ken or somebody is like, "What are you on?" I'm like, "It's just me. It's half the team."
It's too small.
It was their idea. I just drew it.
What is everybody else on?
and then poor Ken and Alan have to come along and model and rig it and make it work and move, and they're like, "What the hell is this thing?"
What moves?
But yeah, it's you guys got to see some of them. Again, we're not going to say what they are because I'm trying to.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil stuff.
But again, to give context, essentially what
Rainy.
Liz does is essentially what Liz does is she accepts the bosses and the other range. She also concepts the environments as well.
Oh yeah.
To everything. She's a dabbler.
Yeah. Not like the whole thing. Like that's mostly Kai's area, the caves. I'm just in a very few specific parts of the caves. But then I whine to Fem and see if she'll let me in the engine so I can start putting props and stuff places. And she's like, "Are you begging me to work?" And I'm just like, "Just let me in."
Do I?
I just want in.
Can I show like a random interior that Liz has done? So
it's not even close.
You can show the workshop, Phillips Carpenter shop.
Well, that one is the only one that isn't on the same map.
Oh,
the mill house. Buttermill.
Is the Shibata mill done?
The interior has some stuff, but the exterior has the foliage.
Yeah, that's just foliage. I don't think anything's really. I mean, maybe Gabe's house.
I don't have the latest
Kinda.
map because of.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
no. The answer is no.
the answer is
Load
no.
the persistent map or get out.
But yeah, Liz is also alongside Laura have a lot of decoration in.
Yeah.
Our
Laura
goal
and
has
I-
been. Our goal has been helping everybody on the team kind of learn new skills as much as we can. So, getting Liz in engine, getting Laura in engine, getting Laura doing UI stuff, and we're singing Liz's praises. We got to sing Laura's praises too.
Yes.
Laura's our intern, turned badass UI designer, and that just happened because it was like, okay, we know she can draw, we know that she's been designing website stuff. These things go hand in hand. If we give her this thing, if we trust her with this, can she do it? And for us, the answer was yes. And for Rainy and I as leaders, that really is how you kind of level up your team, is you have to trust them with stuff. You have to trust them with new things. And if you don't, you're never going to get cool stuff. Liz is not a computer programmer. She's not an engine worker, just like I wasn't. But if we put her in engine, what do we think is going to happen? And so we did it. Let's try it. And we're getting cool stuff. So it's about trusting our team and Ren too. Like, Ren doesn't have any credits to his name, but that doesn't mean he's not capable. So if we give this to him, what's going to happen? And then we get killer freaking animals out of it. So
I was essentially completely blind to all this stuff when I first started. I had no skill at all. Like I said, I had 2 weeks of Blender, and if somebody in his 30s just decides that he wants to flip his career around and just start doing game dev, well, anybody can really. There's no better time to do it than when you believe the time is right.
I'm right there with you, Ren.
Yeah, Andy's the same. Yeah, because what's your background, Andy?
Fashion design and the military.
Yeah, which are random,
fields.
but
they go really well together.
But you've only been with us for a little while, but we're gonna when your stuff slows down because you're a bit hectic right now, but get you an engine and get you learning stuff and learning programming and see what the thing is. Always skills overlap. I mean, my background's in cooking, but running a hotline means managing people, and it's project management. So do culinary and game design have anything to do with each other? No.
They do.
But you pull the skills out and you use them, So, and I mean, I think Kai.
Yeah.
I mean, you were a college student too, just like Laura, right?
Yep. And I was working in the kitchens as well.
Yeah.
Let's
And
go.
you just pull out the stuff, the skills where you need it, and you utilize it. And so that's something I'm really proud about with RainyGames is I don't ever want our studio to be a place that's like, oh, we're just going to hire the best. I want to hire the people that maybe other studios aren't really giving a chance, and then
You want
give
to
you that
make
chance.
the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Better,
Very well
which
put.
is awesome. It gives you so many opportunities for growth.
Thank you for that.
That reminds me of something, and you can stop me if it's not really relevant, but there's this computer fan company called Noctua, and their CEO, at some point, they were told, oh, you guys make the best fans in the world, you must have the best engineers. And the CEO was like, no, we don't. We don't have the best engineers. What we do is we make sure that our engineers have the time that they need to do their best work. And so they end up with a better product than another company that has the better engineers.
Yeah, man, I wish I could give you guys better time.
I mean,
how much better stuff will we get?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are still doing a fantastic job at handling that because we're able to push through, right?
Yeah, the time pressure we've put you guys on, and the fact that you guys have stuck with it and stuck with our neuroses and terrible management skills and terrible time management skills, and still stick it with us and help us along.
That speaks something to the team as a whole, in that like this is a passion project for everybody, and so because there's so many people on this team who genuinely care about what we are doing, we'll give 120%. It's not just the day job or whatever, so it's been a lot of fun. It's more of a community again.
Yeah,
and we're gonna be here for the long ride, so build these work relationships.
God willing.
God willing. I don't know. You never know. 10 years from now, when we're making SunnySide 3, we're gonna be like, hey, do you remember when we were struggling to stay up to do the alpha?
I mean, for the long haul, you guys know.
It's an awesome I'm ready for this.
Well, we could probably talk all night about. We love
actually
talking about
gonna
how
be
awesome our
talking.
team is.
We're gonna be talking more about the whole art team, including Andy and Lauren in the chat as well. But before we do that, we were actually gonna talk about the clothing stuff. So what you do essentially in terms of concept for the clothing, what does that look like? Process of. Feel free to share your screen. And yeah,
sure. Let me just make sure I have only that screen open, so I don't give anything away on accident.
No spoilers. It's the hardest thing, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it. I freaking hate it.
I don't mind being the bad guy.
I just get booted off the chat. 1 second, you know what happened. So this is just some of the looks that I've got, just samples of ideas. I've been looking at a lot of like a little bit of J-pop, J-rock, a lot of different things from out street style and such. And then I had to remember that, we're also a farm game, so I'm trying to tie them in together. So you have the fun little farmer stuff you'd see, some rain boots, some sneakers, and of course our amazing logos. So yeah, doing the best I can.
Oh yeah,
no, that's a little shirt in there.
They're fantastic.
For anybody who recognizes it.
This one? Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think anyone's watched that show or read the manga, so it's fine.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
Like some old.
It actually is pretty old, yeah. But it was a personal favor to me because I wanted it.
I need it.
I needs it. Please makes it.
I don't know if we decided yet, but we might do some cool community polls, like, or challenges or something along that for clothes. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled on that.
I'm looking forward to working alongside some of you guys and getting your ideas, as long as the bosses say yes.
As long as the bosses say yes. Unfortunately, I'm not the only bosses. We have to ask the overlords.
The big bosses.
Took the word out of my mouth.
Yeah, overlords. The kind overlords.
The jest.
Yeah, no, thanks for that, Andy. So I think we just kind of wanted to talk about we kind of did already in a way, but just how it is to work with an art team. All of you that you are, including Lauren in the chat and Carrie, if she had an Alan, if he's in the chat.
Yeah, I would even say, you know, Ren and
Well,
Ken
Ren
too,
Ken, of
and
course,
just
yes.
like Ken, you know, gets tossed these models and then has to make them work and operate. You know, it's a big team effort.
Yeah, I think a good example of it is really Liz does the, or we give Liz the copy of what it is. Liz does the concept. Concept goes to Alan. Alan models it. Model goes to Ken. Ken rigs it, and then I makes the app for it. Such a huge chain of.
And then I animate it as well.
You animate
Then
it
I
as well.
break it.
Sorry, and Kyle breaks it.
Honestly, I'm glad that I don't have a hand in the characters yet, because it seems like such a huge task, and I want to learn how to do it properly before I do it. But you guys are doing amazing.
You guys don't know how much, like, when I'm concepting, I'm like, ooh, how many things can I put on this thing? And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, Alan and Ken. It's like, I'm gonna do it anyway.
And confirm, I've heard her say that out loud.
And then Ken's in there rigging it, and he's like, I'm cutting this out because this is stupid.
Yeah, it's funny also to think about the destination, the travel that something takes, because like it goes from the state to the States again, goes to Brazil, then it goes to Ireland, it comes back, and then it goes to Bulgaria, and it comes to UK. Around the world,
And it resides in Canada.
And it resides in Canada.
It lives in Canada.
I'm so glad. That means that, like, I'm technically downloading the project on the server way faster than everyone.
That's
Because
true.
nobody's here.
You could go visit.
Yep.
I mean, Kyle.
Oh yeah, we
Easiest.
totally
Honestly,
should.
with
Yeah,
high
at some
upload
point.
speed at this point, it might be faster for you to just drive down here.
I was
Get
thinking
used
about
to
it
it.
at times.
Yeah,
Bruh,
big
just,
shout out
just have
to
this flash drive.
big shout out to Kyle for something though that he does that we don't really talk about at all. You all might be wondering, how does a very super international team collaborate on this scale when multiple people work on the same time or do different things around? So what we have is called a Perforce server. What you need to know is essentially it's like a Google Drive. It's like a server that the game resides on. Google Drive with a lot more bells and whistles. And it's a server that the game resides on. And then whenever somebody wants to work on something, they essentially tell the system, hey, I'm going to borrow this. So if I'm going to be working on, say, a farming system, I'm going to be borrowing it, checking it out is what it's called. So nobody else can touch it. Because imagine if I work on the farming and Kai works on the farming at the same time, whose version is going to be the last one? Because we worked on it at the same time. So there's a system that needs to manage and take care of all this. And Kyle, the person that takes care of all of that for us, hosts the game actually on the server. So big shout out to him, saving us headache, resources, money, everything. And he's keeping everybody.
And
Even if he
he's
has a
such
crappy upload speed.
Yeah, my upload speed is terrible. You can rag on as much as you want. Kojiko, you are terrible with your upload speeds.
Yeah, so that was my tangent. Sorry. Back to the art.
I was just
I
gonna
think-
say the. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Kyle, like it's even more than that because he's such a wealth of knowledge that he keeps us running, like literally. Like no matter where we are, something breaks down, or we just have questions about anything. Like he's keeping us going.
Well, some of you guys in the SunnySide server have experienced that too. Kyle's popped in and helped somebody like fried their hard drive or something a couple weeks ago.
From what I saw, it looked like same thing that happened to you, Rainy, when I helped you that like, a long time back. The SSD was overheating.
Yeah.
So I told them, like, once they were able to get into the BIOS, I basically asked them to just wait. Let's wait 10 minutes, see if the drive cools down. Will it boot back into Windows? And I don't know if that's the full conclusion of what ended up happening. I'm sure some more diagnostics would be done, but after that 10 minutes, it did come back up.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was greedy.
Yeah, greedy.
Yeah. So I mean, Kyle's just kind of always there when we need him. And he's also one of our main moderators too. So yeah, more praises for Kyle. Even though you're not an artist, you get all the praises
in the art section.
He's a
in the art
wizard.
section of the stream.
I do what I can where I can.
It is.
Yeah, it was Greedy Dragon that I also made like this guide how to like swap power supplies and stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Ren builds computers too. He's kind of our backup Kyle. So if Kyle's not around, we poke Ren, and Ren's our backup. And then if they're not around, we poke my boyfriend, who will very begrudgingly come in and help.
Oh,
understandably.
Kevin is great.
Kevin is.
He's like, I'm trying to watch anime. Leave me alone.
Yeah, some of the banter me and Ren have back and forth just when we get into our nerdy computer talk is awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Canadian.
But if we do want to pop back to art, Canadians. If we do want to pop back to art, I'm gonna put her on the spot and freak her out. But I think Lauren is in the chat. Lauren is also one of our artists. You guys know we were talking about the icons earlier and stuff. And I just want to make sure, she gets some love too. Actually, a lot of the original concepts for some of the core characters were Lauren's. And then I took them and annihilated them and butchered them. But yeah, Gabe is Lauren's brainchild. I probably never would have done that.
Gabe and Luce.
Everybody has Lauren to thank for Gabe.
So everybody thank Lauren. It's Lauren's fault.
I wish I could show the Omamori art. Obviously, that is something because we haven't got approval for it. But
I would murder you.
Yeah, but Lauren is also doing alongside Fish, or Fish is part of it. Is inventory item icons. So any icon you see in inventory, or most of them, there are a few, kind of maybe like a few of them that were done before I joined, but most of them are done by Lauren. And as I mentioned before, she one thing that she does that is super helpful is because both Kaori, Laura, and Liz are swamped with work, don't have manpower to do arts. For example, what we did for Halloween. So Lauren joining the project means lesson deck. So Liz can make a rough sketch, and Lauren, and then in a very good reason, able to do a lot more cool marketing that we.
And she's also one of those artists that is like, oh, it's not good, my work is never whatever, but like then she has a masterpiece and
Says
like
the
Fish masterpiece.
Calling the kettle black.
Right? I was gonna say she's stealing my words, but what I say about her art.
Hey.
And then from, technically anybody who, creates anything on the team is one of our artists. So, Ken is one of our artists. Alan is one of our artists. Ren is one of our artists. And, making a model is cool. It's hard, but I would say like one of the most unsung heroes, not on the team because we sing his praises all the time, but maybe that you guys don't recognize really is Ken. And the fact that you guys haven't seen a lot of the animations he's done because Rainy is lazy and hasn't put them in the engine. But
Got him.
But
all this stuff.
Like he and I work pretty closely on getting these animations right, and I send him videos and I remember Ken you saying that like rigging itself I know nothing about. All I know is it's something that not a lot of people in the industry do. Can you talk about how hard it is?
Well, it's something you don't see in the game. Basically, it's a hidden thing.
Just actually explain what it is, because a lot of people don't even know what rigging is.
I think I'm going to need a visual aid for that. So.
Do you have something ready?
Are you at a point where you can stream? Can you stream or?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, stream. Set it up now.
Kitty.
The cat lady of the team.
Our kitties.
Yeah, we're all cat ladies.
Cuddling with Lauren in the bedroom.
Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not a cat lady.
Yeah. So rigging is basically putting a skeleton onto the mesh of the character. It's made up of bones. So you have one bone here, 2 bones there. So you move the bones basically to animate the character then. Because the mesh is bound to the bones, the mesh follows bone movement as well. So that's the basics of it.
Yeah,
The
essentially,
skin has bone.
essentially you put a humanoid character in the game, and then the engine is like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with this? It's like an oven, or is this the person? I love that. So the engine needs to know.
Spelled with boing.
I love the stretching that you did. So the engine essentially needs to know what is the leg, what is the arm, what is the head, how are they gonna move. So rigging is essentially that put bones inside of a 3D model and then tell it how it should affect and. So like the pumpkin that you did looks great. But has 2
How long did it
bones,
take you
one
to
for the
do
top.
that?
It
does,
now.
5 minutes. Right?
What?
Oh, it's made up of these are called keyframes down here. So it's made up of 4 keyframes. You basically first keyframe squashes it or stretches it, sorry, and then when it comes down you squash it, and then it goes back to normal again.
Oh, if only Matt was here,
You
he
did
could add a
that
soundtrack
principle
to
of
this.
animation.
Genius.
Nice.
You are not worthy. No.
Basically,
That's so cool.
You basically use the 12. That's one of the 12 principles of animation to make it look realistic. So if I just removed, say, 2 of these keyframes, then you have nothing. So the movement is in these between the frames. Basically, the computer fills in the blanks between the keyframes and gives you animation, basically.
So cool.
And essentially take this and apply it to every single character model, every single ancient model, every single animal. Everything that needs to move is going to have to be. Now, some of the animals do rigging, but all the characters are rigged from the ground up as well. It's tedious work. It needs a lot of finesse, and
the animation is the slowest work. Really.
The animation is.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I think I have nothing to compare it to, but even though it's the slowest work, I feel like you are insanely fast at it. Like,
oh yeah, sure. Like Pixar take months to do 1 second, and I'm not these in like months. So all these animations.
Crazy.
We also don't have any mocap suit or anything for Ken to work off of, so pretty much starting from scratch.
He's making it up. Yep.
I mean, we good. I have a mocap suit right there.
But like, poor Ken, you know, when it comes to the animations, you know, if he has never seen that motion happen, he doesn't have anything to pull off of. So I'll have to, I'll send him. I think one of the first ones we really like dug into was the one for Gabe, like mucking out the stalls, right, Ken?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like sent him videos of like a girl who lived on a farm, like cleaning out a horse stall, and he yanked out the right keyframes and made it happen. And you guys haven't seen it, but it's killer, you know.
Yeah, there's going to be a few more like that.
Yeah, there's quite a few like that.
Yeah. So that's pretty much me anyway.
I also kind of wanted Ken to showcase like some of the stuff he models. Is there any buildings that Ken can show that he's done?
You can show any of them.
Do the Kazuki one that you did recently. So you guys remember the Ishikawa State Kazuki's house back from Alpha, and that was done by me just quickly. Well, not quickly. But it wasn't very good. So this is for another very good example of how we're upgrading the build.
This is the mini map one, but yeah.
General idea.
Same idea, yeah.
And Ken has had to become a master in about 2 centuries worth of Japanese architecture.
Yeah,
because I'll be like, no, this house needs to look like it was built in the 70s, and this one needs to look like it was built in like the 1920s, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I will also just quickly share the new building for Sako's. You guys can see it's a lot more comprehensive. It has back door. This is where the shop. back door that goes to this back area, and then the steps that go upstairs, and then it's quite crazy. Apparently, this is a bathroom, which is huge. There's a balcony, so yeah.
Well, it's gotten changed.
Okay.
Everyone's singing the
it's been
Adams
upgraded.
Family in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, no,
I
thanks for
don't
that,
have
Ken.
any responsibility or blame for this.
Right.
So if anyone has any questions about rigging or animation, I can answer any.
Yeah.
It looks so
in the
good.
chat. Thanks.
Like when I have my house, you can design it. That's what I'm saying, Ken.
Sure. Let's do that.
You might need a concept artist.
Yeah.
First.
Well, you can do that.
Oh, I know a concept artist who has some wild and wacky designs he'd be into.
I know a few. I know this one has great interiors, so I just might reach out to her.
Vicky T, we hear you loud and clear. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to let him talk about that, but I will say that is something we have thought about, and that has been the absolute bane of Ken's existence, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Next game is going to be in Japan, I hope.
No more Japanese games, just to give Ken a break from shoe areas. But yeah, so we're kind of running a little long here, which thanks everybody for hanging out with us. I think we still have like 70 people in here or something. Oh, we're down to 60. That's cool.
Yeah.
So
for the longer.
I'm glad you guys find our nonsense at least a little entertaining. I do want to. I'm gonna kind of skip a little bit the textures and materials because we have talked about it before. I kind of really want to give Kai a chance to actually talk about some of the stuff that he has worked on. If we're talking about unsung heroes on the team, you guys literally don't get to see anything that Kai does because I've NDA'd all of it. And then we were gonna show it to you, and then Merge was like, no, we're not showing any of that stuff. So you saw some of it in the trailer, a little bit, but I'm still not gonna let him talk too much about it. But what I do want you to talk about, Kai, is kind of coming out of school and like what you did with us first, and like your experiences on like the alpha release and that chaos. And then, like, kind of how we threw you in the deep end with giving you all these crazy cave levels to build and just, like, said, go have fun, and then left you in the dark by yourself.
All right. So, my name is Kai. I graduated from University of Suffolk in the UK. I majored in computer games design. So, on the course, we covered absolutely everything about games development, management, funding, level design, game design, emotional narrative design, everything. And you can say that I'm a jack of all trades, maybe master of none. We're about to see. Basically, I joined the team as an Unreal Engine developer. However, the team needed like a serious level designer to flesh out like a huge section of the game, and like I was so fortunate to be granted that creative power, because there wasn't much about the caves in the beginning. There was only like the narrative and some assets. So I worked tightly with Fem and Rainy initially in order to script out the whole experience for the caves. I'm not gonna mention like the levels and everything like that. Like that's up to you guys, because it's an experience on its own. And I would love for you guys to, yeah, you can see it here. That's still pretty much in development.
Oh, Rainy, you're so sneaky.
I am.
Yeah.
You sneaky jerk.
Yeah.
Part of the videos if they decided to put it in the trailer.
Sneaky jerk.
Yep. What can I say? Initially, I was working with Rainy on the programming on some mechanics. Let's say the animal petting system, what else? Like I did the first initial concept of the questing mechanic. Later on, like Laura joined the team, like we had like a different vision for that, so we amended it, we changed it, and here on the Rainy Games team, we're all about the improvement. It's like we start building something, and little by little we change it majorly later on. And for me, this is something that I also experienced in university. So basically, uh, I love to change things that, like I love to improve things, and like everybody on the team does so too. And the caves specifically are in constant need of improvement because they're a huge section of the game. And now we have more people. I'm inviting more people to join me from the team to work on the caves, and Rain is there to help me with optimizing it because it's just the workload is huge. Otherwise, when it comes to the narrative, I guess you guys will be pretty surprised how interconnected the levels are with the narrative. It was the huge pillar, like a designer pillar when we started fleshing out the caves. So yeah, I worked tightly with the writing team and Fem specifically to achieve this specific vision that we're having with the narrative, and we kind of want to marry the gameplay and the narrative together so that it's one literally fleshed out experience. And that's the other reason why we don't really want to show it to you guys because you'll be in for a treat. And that's pretty much it.
I gotta say, the biggest stress has been making sure the narrative and the levels of the caves work, especially because Rainy exists. And so we'll be at a point where we're like, okay, we're gonna have this thing, and then Rainy's like, I want to do this thing, and I'm like, I can't explain that in the narrative. And then we have a fight for 3 hours about how we're gonna make it work in the narrative, so that he can put it in the game and I can explain it. So
They're good ideas, trust me.
They're all good ideas, honestly, and that's why it makes me mad because I'm like, it is a good idea, but now I have to rip the story apart and rewrite it to make it fit.
I mean, actually, you know what? You do this quite often too, because I like to do a little bit of a quick segue to the social system with it. We're not going to talk too much about it, but actually we did talk about it a little bit last time. But the Hangout system, you guys know about the Hangout system. How at the end of it, have a bunch of different options to do. The original idea was just going to be saying goodbye. But Sydney came up with this whole idea of being able to... how much of this have we said, like the love language?
Not a lot, so don't go into it too much. But essentially, we wanted it to be so that instead of just giving gifts and getting friendship points, that hanging out with your friends was significant and it felt like something was happening. And it's still gamified a little bit, but you have more options other than just hang out with them and give them a gift.
Let me just say, some people might not be too much into the gift giving. Some people just like to hear nice. Some people might just want a hug. It's a lot more real. And actually, a big shout out to Kenna on this one, because a lot of you guys haven't seen the humongous sheets and Excel sheets we have in the back end.
Wasn't lying about the spreadsheets.
Yes,
they're insane.
The likes and dislikes of different NPCs for like different gifts that they're gonna get, what hangout spots they prefer. Somebody might love to go to Naka, somebody might hate it. How they would perceive different things to say to them. All of those needs to be put on a sheet so we can have an overall view of it all. And the person that does that is Kenna. Big shout out to her on that. A lot of work.
And it's not just arbitrary. A lot of times I use Myers-Briggs and Big Five in order to figure out what makes sense for different people, even if it's not my viewpoint, so that hopefully all of the characters feel like fully developed people in their own right, other than, my own experiences. So hopefully that comes across in the game.
That's the hardest part, is like, okay, I think this is stupid. But, like, for instance, Nato. natto, for anybody who doesn't know, is a Japanese fermented soybean thing. That's yeah. And Ken and I are both like, oh, but there's gonna be somebody who likes it, right?
Oh yeah,
So then
there's a reason it's a thing.
Yeah, so then Kenna dives into the characters like, all right, who's gonna like this, and who do we give this to? So you guys are probably used
I'm
to
a
in farm
vegetarian.
games.
Not all the characters are.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are probably used to in games, you know, there's always like, I know Stardew Valley has like those sheets online that people put together of like, who likes what and what stars do you get for giving what things. There's somebody has to make those charts first before you guys ever even get to see the information. And it's Kenna, because you're weird and like that stuff. I look at one of those sheets and my eyes cross and I can't, and I'm like, this is overwhelming. Just tell me what I need to know. I can't, but power to you, man.
And you know, we haven't got to the bit when we're going to QA the story of the game and social game, because there's still a lot of programming goes into it. But when we come down to QA it, we're gonna have to balance it a lot to make sure that they're not exploits. Still probably gonna be some left, but the biggest source of information that we're going to go back to is going to be to see the numbers and put them together and see. They're going to become excessively useful.
Yep.
Yes, bringing order to the chaos with spreadsheets.
It's all making
Spreadsheets
sense
of chaos
now.
in my life.
Right, so I think that's everything that we had. If you have any
Pretty
questions
much,
for
yeah.
the team, feel free to shoot them. We're not going to leave the team, but we're going to move to the announcement sections where we're going to talk about all the cool stuff on the horizon. Sorry, team, we're going to just keep you here hostage for a few. But in case anybody has questions, feel free to
I
post
do
them.
think Andy has to go, right?
Oh, yeah, if you have
soon.
to go, that's fine.
So we forgot to give you guys a chance to ask Matt any questions if you wanted to. So while I do some announcements, if anybody has any questions for Andy before she goes and does family stuff, go ahead and type them up either here in the chat or over in the Discord so that she can answer them. A few questions about clothing or her experience or her past or her life or her outfit or whatever, her cat, I don't care. Yeah, so just couple announcements. It's nothing exciting. It's mostly just reminders. It's stuff that you've all heard before, but we try to say it constantly so that hopefully somebody hears it and then can pass the information along so that people stop asking us. So one of the things is the summer play tests didn't really happen, mostly because we were still building stuff and just never got stuff to a point where we wanted to test it during the summer. So play tests are going to happen. So if you signed up with the Merge MVP program, you will be getting an email when we decide to do one of those. We are going to do one of them. Please just be patient. We'll get to it because we need to get feedback from you guys. So it's definitely going to happen. It's just we're waiting for how do I phrase this? Packaging everything together is like literally the hardest and longest step. We've kind of talked to you guys about that when we were doing the alpha and stuff and why we're not doing a live developed game because it's actually harder and takes longer. So we're just waiting to get to a point where we're at a place where we can package and send everything out to you guys to test. So we'll get it. Don't worry. Keep an eye out on your email. We'll announce it on Discord. We'll announce it through email. We'll announce it through Twitter when it's happening. So don't worry, it's coming. We also, I said this last stream, but I'm just going to say it again. We have not forgotten about any of our contest winners. So if you won the art contest, the drone contest, if you donated through the Rainbow Railroad fundraiser that we did, haven't forgotten about you. It's still on the back of our mind. It's just kind of lower priority because the rewards are game keys, which we don't even have yet. So like we could go through and do the whole thing, but we don't even have anything to give you at the moment. So it's just, we haven't forgotten. We're just not there yet. So, and then you guys all know by now that the timeline's been delayed a little bit. We're releasing next year instead of obviously this year because it's almost December. So, it's not like nothing's wrong, you know, nothing bad is happening. It's just we want to make sure we do the game justice, and we just wanted more time to make sure we get it all in. So it's because we wanted more time for Andy to make clothes. That's really what it comes down to. That's we delayed the entire schedule so that Andy and Alan can make clothing.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, so just some like little reminder announcement things. But I think we're at a point now where we can kind of do a Q&A. Feel free to start putting in your questions. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for letting us talk and just chill and, you know, do something on Halloween night and all that. And so go ahead and post them in. You guys don't know what I'm gesturing at.
I think there are some questions for Andy already.
Yeah. So keep posting them in the chat or in the Discord, and we'll start working through them. And then team, if you guys want to stay. If you gotta go. It's up to you guys. So
I can answer the
Andy
here before I go, and I'll hit the QA stuff tomorrow when I get home.
Perfect.
So for what I'm designing, I'm actually taking a lot of inspiration from Japanese streetwear from like the 90s, 60s, 80s. Kind of avoided the 70s because it kind of hit a lag. Still cute, but it kind of hit a little bit of a lag in Japan. And a lot of modern wear, and I'm trying to tie it together to give kind of something that feels familiar, but also is distinctly, it's our SunnySide looks. So it's not just copying directly from streetwear, it's taking that and trying to make it into something that fits our aesthetic, which is a little bit more comfy, cozy. Like, you know, it's fun. And I guess the favorite part of the work is actually the development part. I love sitting down just putting looks together and drawing and drawing and drawing. And then driving people crazy going, is this okay? Can I do this? Can I do this? And being told back.
I'm like, calm the hell down.
You guys have no idea. Andy is just like pure creative energy, just gone wild. She is just moving at breakneck speed of just creative thing after creative thing after creative thing, and all of these colors and ideas, and just pumping and breathing life into the production with her just existence. We love her.
Reminds me of somebody else.
Do you have a favorite?
Quite often.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite outfit so far, Andy, that you've done?
I do, but I've been told
the monster
something particularly awesome. The monster.
True. You can talk about it, but you can't show it.
So one of my first things I worked on was the hardest thing I could do, and it's essentially a torture project for Alan. When he sees this, I'm sorry still, but I love it. It's been lovely named. Can I call it by its actual name?
Yes.
The Hell Beast. It's
the Hell Beast.
It took almost 100 layers to put it all together color-wise. And you were just screenshotting as I was going. That was fun.
Something like that, yeah. It's pretty crazy. Okay. Any other last minute questions before she runs? I guess we have to wait longer because there's a delay, huh?
Do we like Studio Ghibli's art style? Not at all. And when you see some of the things, not at all,
hate it.
right?
Not at all. I actually have to confess, I've never seen a Studio Ghibli movie.
We can fix that.
Grave of the Fireflies scarred me for life.
I know.
But I'll actually have a note on this. So the original look of SunnySide, especially the grass and the region, everything, that came from the Ghibli style. Unfortunately, these days, that's not a very unique thing to say about an indie game, but back then it was.
Well, Andy, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Happy Halloween.
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 Bye.
All right, I want to get to some of these questions before they scroll too far away. So let's see. Fashion. So I think we can all answer what's the favorite part of your work. Probably not all of us, but I think Kai, you're smiling at me. What's your favorite part of your work? Yeah, right.
I always smile. The best part about my work is that I can't talk about it. Yeah, jokes aside, I enjoy creating levels, and I would enjoy to see the reaction of the people when they actually first play the levels, and like
Same.
how they react to the story that's happening in these levels. So it will be really rewarding for me to see that. So I'm looking forward to it.
How about Ken, our hardest worker? What's your favorite thing?
Just the creative aspect, I suppose, creating things, and I suppose eventually playing the game and seeing how all the elements come together and they make a good game, basically. Like we all see the individual parts and each other's individual aspects we're working on, but we don't see how it all works together, blends together. That'll be something I'd be interested in seeing.
Yeah, I think that's something really that only like the beta testers really get to see, or the QA testers, or like Rainy, even Rainy, you don't really get to see it either. I think just the other day you were talking about how like you haven't actually played the game in months.
If you want me to use that as a segue about what's my part of the game, so that would be so. I don't want to sound like a developer of Anthem, but no, I haven't been in the app for the longest time. Because of I use the test map to develop stuff, because every time I want to change a minute thing and test it, I don't want to have to wait a minute for the map to load. I just use a very, very small version of the map. But I have two favorite things about it. My most favorite part about just making a game is, and it's not everybody knows about it, it's atmosphere and feels.
Never would have guessed.
Yeah, whenever I try to explain a system, whenever I try to explain a story, I always started from the side of things. How I want players to, how I want them to experience. So I don't really start conversations by saying, "Oh, there's gonna be this many stuff, and we want the player to get this many stuff out of it." No, I always start by saying, "We want the player to feel like they under pressure here, and they have to." Always starts with the feel. So a big thing that goes into that is atmosphere. So yes, I haven't been in the main map for like a month because of just this map, but jumping into that and I just looking at the atmosphere, the lighting and everything coming together, I honestly had to take. So this is a really pretty game. So the really atmosphere is the biggest one for me. But again, we're probably all going to end up saying this, but the second most part of the whole thing, and it's what made Alpha so fun, is to just see how you guys receive this. That clip that we put together of people reacting to was the best one of them. Yeah. But just how people react to the system and play with it, or even take it and change it, and
that's why I was creeping. That's why I was creeping on all the Alpha streams.
Yeah,
is because
we creeped on all of them.
Yeah, we creeped on all of you guys who were playing the Alpha, and like especially that first like week when like all the backer kits had access, and or maybe it was just the influencers, but I went through and like I think at one point, because I have like 4 monitors, I had like 15 streams all going at once. Some of them were muted, some of them weren't, and I was watching everybody. And when anybody was getting close to that day 11 with the storm, I was turning them up and just waiting because I wanted to see what people thought of that rainstorm. So, you know, it's kind of, again, like a chef. The reason you cook, Kai, is to see how people like your food.
Yeah.
You know, it's why you create anything, is you want people to enjoy it. So, yeah, I think for a lot of us, it's the best part. But, like, so for Kenna, like, I feel like you're the one person who doesn't really get to see, you don't get that instant gratification of, like, I made this thing, here's this cool model, how do people like it? So, like, for you, how do you get that feeling?
So, one thing about me is that my entire life, what I've done to de-stress, calm down, and just kind of enjoy my free time is make spreadsheets. So I'm that weird person that plays The Witcher and makes a spreadsheet of every single Gwent card, and how to get it, how, which ones are missable, and does like all of these crazy things to take information and put it into an orderly format just to de-stress because I'm weird. So for me, it's, on that aspect of this production, it's more like just doing the thing that I've always done for fun and to de-stress, but getting paid to do it. What? So I don't get that I created something, an instant gratification aspect of it. I just kind of do what I've always done. Make tons of spreadsheets for funsies, and in this case, make them in the most hopefully useful way possible to the game, and balance information and make lists and things. Then with the rest of it, with writing and descriptions and all of that, that is a bit more of a waiting game. And when the game comes out, hopefully I get to be like, yay!
I think we're all so excited to see that moment. I think we want to play the game and have, except for maybe Kyle, who's about done the QA a million times and broken the system.
He's about done with the whole thing.
You'd be surprised, honestly. I'll give you a good example. I've played tons of games, like even Ghost of Tsushima. I love the game. Game is beautiful. I've probably played the camera mode 1-2 times in Ghost of Tsushima. It just says people say, "Oh, it's a fancy camera mode." I played it. Looks pretty. SunnySide is the first game where I have stopped and just taken screenshot upon screenshot upon screenshot. And I'm not talking about things that are broken, just of how beautiful the game is. So I am constantly looking forward to seeing the new stuff that's being added, because the fact I'm just appreciating everything I'm seeing, and it's not even done.
It's true.
Not even there yet.
It's good because I was gonna ask you literally what's your favorite part.
I'm just collating questions. So actually, Ren, I actually want to know what your favorite thing is.
My favorite thing might not come as a surprise to anyone within the team, but for me, it's the opportunity to learn a butt ton of stuff.
Yes, well done.
Oh gosh.
Hell yeah.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Okay, so it's the opportunity to learn a lot of stuff in a very small amount of time, and have the opportunity to teach it back to other people as well. At the end of the day, one thing that I really like, I do get the opportunity to also have that instant gratification of realizing, hey, here is something I made. I kind of have a rough idea of how I want to make it blend within the world, and you put it in the game, and it fits. And this, honestly, it feels amazing. This entire thing makes it worth it to just go into game dev and go through all of the hurdles and sleepless nights of doing development work. But also, it's really cool to see that when I do think it's kind of okay, and then I'm doubting myself, realizing that other people look at it and say, "Hey, this is really nice. I really like the animals," and then I just get to come to peace with the idea of, hey, I should be more comfortable showing the stuff that I do with my work and stuff. I should be more confident in that stuff, because these were my first works and a lot of people really like it. And just realizing that, hey, it's not garbage, and it's not because you're an absolute beginner at all of this that you don't have talent. So I think for me it's a little bit more selfish, because there is somewhere where I do want to get in game development, but it's still all about the players. At the end of the day, I still want the player to have a good experience, and I just want what's best for the game, right?
Not to drag this any longer, but I kind of want to tell you something that I relate to. Lines of that, obviously, we all kind of struggle with this imposter syndrome, more or less. Some people a lot more than others. For me, it has always been the fact that I struggled a lot with understanding code, just bare code, in traditional form of writing. So I never felt welcomed to the world of programming or just creating systems. I always wanted to do it, but there was always this barrier that I couldn't understand or read code easily, and I always felt like I wasn't welcomed. Judge me for it. I'm not a programmer unless I know how to write code. So I said, to hell with that, and I started using Unreal, just using blueprint system, just club it together what I could. And I had the doubts for like almost a year that like these systems are inefficient because it's not in C++. I'm just like putting together random stuff, just making it work. But it turned into SunnySide, and it is optimized. It is running. So I feel like one thing that comes with this line of work that is especially that you get validation and gratification pretty quickly and easy. So that has been a very good part.
Yeah, it's definitely.
We'll
what
say
keeps us going,
too.
honestly.
Since we sang everybody else's praises, just so you guys understand, how freaking talented Rainy is.
Mhm.
When we do our publisher calls, so we talk with our publisher every week, sometimes twice a week, sometimes 5 times a week. And so our publisher, you know, they've been doing this for 20 years. The guys who work over there have worked for like Team 17, and I think somebody worked at Ubisoft. Like, they know game development. They know what they're talking about. So when these guys at this publisher tell us that Rainy is a star child, and they wish that every single developer was not only as good as he was, but as fast and as considerate, that tells me as a business owner that, you know, we have something special on our hands. So the reason that this game is coming together as quickly as it is, and as good as it is, yeah, you know, we all put in the work. We help him, you know, we get him the models, we get him the animation, we get him the ideas, is, you know, what I put in, we get him the story, but Rainy's putting it all together. He's the only programmer who's in the engine who's putting all of it together and making it work and run. And it's like, when it comes out, like, it's his game, and I tell him all the time, it's your game. Like, it's not me, it's yours. And we're so lucky, and that's how I know that, you know, we're gonna have SunnySide, but we're gonna keep going. And my biggest fear is somebody's gonna try to poach him from me, and I'm gonna lose my only developer.
It's kind of hard when your name is on the suit.
True, that's true.
But no, thank you. I'm terrible at receiving compliments, but thank you. Thank you all so much for.
So you're literally shaking in your seat because you're like, oh, I want to say
Shut
something.
up! No, stop. Go away.
You've earned all of it. You deserve it. You absolutely
I am
do.
not bad.
The amount of times that Rainy will just say like, oh, you know, Fem will be like, did you get that thing done last night? And Rainy will be like, oh yeah, I just implemented it, and then shows us a whole system. Where like, I can't even comprehend how to do that. Blows our minds.
Thank you. I hope I can do that more often as development.
Do it every single meeting. What do you mean more often?
Actually, I'll tell you the part. Sorry, Ren. I'm gonna. I'll come back to you. But the thing that the example that I will always have is he was implementing the building system before alpha, and I think it was like I was going away for a couple days, and then I came back, and it was like, okay, let's see what you've done. How far have you gotten? And he's showing me the building system, and oh, by the way, I threw in this thing with the blueprint, and it does this thing, and then here's this cool animation, and it shows you adding, you know, as you add stuff to it, here it shows a half building, and I was like, how long did this take you? Oh, you know, it was most of what I worked on, and I was like, We don't have time for this. But it's so freaking cool that I can't be mad. So it's just, and that's just how everything has been, is like, I can't be mad because it's so good, you know? And that's just been like the entire game.
Works. I sometimes wish it didn't because it validates my approach, but
I think one of the things Rainy always says is that it wouldn't take that long.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
he says that a lot.
Laura, what's your
and then
favorite
I'm like,
thing
okay.
about the game? Because if we took so long until
Feeling awkward.
Rainy's like, talk to somebody else. Talk to somebody else.
Honestly,
okay.
you rock, Rainy.
My
cheeks
favorite
are-
part is you guys, the team.
Aww.
I just said my
Y'all-
cheeks hurting.
You're all so encouraging and so welcoming, and it's just been so cool to like get to learn from you guys. You're all so talented. It makes me want to be better. And yeah,
You are
working with you is so cool.
Laura, you're so talented too, and you always talk like you're not. You are.
It's that damn imposter syndrome.
Oh my god, your art.
for everybody.
Why?
Imposter syndrome is strong in this team.
Well, I consider myself very, very lucky to be here because I really like. I don't know how I got here.
Yeah,
That is
same.
the question.
It was all just a fever
I can
dream.
tell you, you sent me an email.
I did. But like,
Yeah.
why did you say yes is the question.
Here's the thing. When you send me that email, you've already proven that you have the courage to chase things that you want. I can't teach that. We can't help you learn or develop that. That's an innate thing. So, Ken, how did you get your job?
Twitter.
He sent me a Twitter message.
Matt on Reddit.
Matt sent
Yes.
us a message. When it comes down to it, if there's something that you want and you have the courage to go for it, that's all I
You'd be
need.
surprised how many opportunities gets just by asking.
I was
a
offered
lot of
pizza.
people want.
In case you're happy, that's right.
Casey.
Don't be stealing my
Madeline
words.
said. Madeline says that. What have you done in the
become my
server?
life
What did
motto.
you tag everyone?
Trademark.
There's so many. 24 new
I've
messages.
been
since-
copying the questions down.
Oh, me too. Good job, Kyle. Good job. Yeah, I'm copying. We're copying all of them, so we'll get to them. Don't worry, guys. We're definitely gonna get to them.
So, Fem, am I the only one who you reached out to then?
And Liz.
Technically, Liz,
Okay.
but Liz kind of.
Yeah, I
Came
kind of
to
reached
us.
out to you. Yeah, it's weird.
Kai actually sent me a message too. That's how Kai got his job.
Yeah,
Um,
basically, I was trying to
I
another
actually-
project.
Oh.
Kenna,
Yeah,
I
actually
pulled
was
in.
impressed, and I sent you a message
Yeah.
on Discord,
Yeah.
like in the Discord server, like
Yeah.
can I join the team?
And I was like, let's talk.
Yeah.
But yeah,
say
the
too
ones
that-
that. Oh, go ahead.
So I would have to say too that like that is right there like one of Fem's unique talents too. And Kenna can probably say this better than I can because I'm not a wordsmith. But is that you and your networking and you're seeing the unique talents within people, even if like you saw like a piece of art I did in like 3 hours and turned in, and I was happy with it because it was just a 3-hour piece, but it wasn't like something I was like I would have turned in for a portfolio. But you saw that and you saw like the like everything that could go in behind that, and you do that with every single person on this team, and you're always able to stitch us all together in a way that really makes it work. I know, yes. So that is, I think, one of your unique talents too, and that's what makes us all come together.
And you're
I'm not
also
as
never
humble
wrong
as the
about
rest of
anything.
you, so I will say you're right. It's true. That is my talent.
Brilliant.
I like what
Fair.
Laura said, because sometimes I'll draw a piece of art and Fem is like, no, this is wrong because, and I'm just like, ah, and I'm so stubborn, and I go to bed, and then the next day I come back and I look at my art and I'm like, oh gosh, she was right.
To be fair, she does that to me too. She's like, "Oh no, you could do better than this," and I fight, and I'm like, "No, this is the best it's gonna get." Very good example of it. The
Yeah.
questing system.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The
That UI
questing
for it is
system.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the questing system UI Rainy put together a while back. He had polished it off of Kai's original design, and we were looking at it, and it's something that I've been looking at for months now, just going, we can do better than this. And so I kind of sat down with Rainy. I was like, okay, we need to talk about the UI for the questing system. He's like, what's wrong with it? I was like, it needs to be fixed. He's like, no, it's perfect. I'm like, It's not though. Let's sit down and talk about how we can make this better. And now it's freaking awesome. So, but thanks, guys. It's kind of in the same vein as Kenna. I don't often get immediate gratification for the stuff that I do. But for me, it's seeing you guys do well is what makes me happy. So my favorite thing, and the one thing I will never give away as a task to anybody else, is I love doing what I call approvals. Is when you guys send me your art, your models, your code, your whatever, and me getting to look at it and go, this is freaking cool. Like, this is, yes, I do like the part where I get to make decisions. It is nice. It's fun. But for me, it's just like, and you guys can ask Kevin this too, my partner. Like, if I'm doing anything, literally anything except sleeping, and I get a ping on my phone for an art approval, I drop everything. I'm like, it has all my attention now. Because it's just fun to look at. It's cool to look at what you guys create. Same. So, yeah, it's awesome. But I was gonna, so to answer your original question, Ren, as far as who I recruited, it's Kenna was the first one, because Kenna's an old friend of mine. Poor thing said yes. And I've been torturing her ever since. And then I think you're the other one, Ren. I think you two are the only ones that I actually just cold recruited.
Yeah, and poached from me trying to get into another project.
I poached him. It's true. I poached him from Nightmare World. Sorry, Callum Upton. He's mine. You can't have him.
It's okay. I sometimes help him too.
I know, and I give him crap for it all the time. I message Callum randomly sometimes. I'm like, hey, he's mine. You can't have him. You have to wait until next year, and then you can borrow him for a little while, but you have to give him back. And don't ruin him.
Honestly, it's been a joy to work in both teams. But I'm here with RainyGames for the long haul. I'm going on record for this.
Should we answer some questions from the Q&A?
I was gonna say I do want to get through. There a bunch of questions came in because I want to answer questions. It's fun. So, Kyle, let me know if I miss any, but I'm gonna do my best. So the first one that came in, I think, was from Hidden. She said, "So I know that when we can pin the checklist to our screen. Did I remember correctly that there will be regular notepad that we can pin to the screen for regular notes? So basically, that notepad in the journal, will it be pinnable?"
Yes, it'll be. So alongside the pins that you have from your buildable items, you can just write custom.
There you go. Zara Gasai. I think is how you pronounce that. While you probably can't tell us too much about the characters now, can I ask which were your favorites to conceptualize? Kenna? You want to answer that one?
You know my baby.
I know who.
Yukio and Hideo.
Yeah.
So, of all of the characters, most of them, so there's like 5 or so that Lauren had ready to go when we got in, and then I did some backstory on like Gabe and a few others, just filling in some of the blanks of like how did they get where they are now kind of things. It was already like, here are the basics of his backstory, and he's an American in Japan. How did he get there? So I did some of that, and those characters are always going to be special. And then there's, a bunch of characters that Sydney and I conceptualized together, some that she did all on her own, and then the only 2 in there that are completely these are the characters I want in there. So those 2 are Hideo and Yukio. And so those 2 are very special to me because I put those 2 in there. So.
I don't remember who it was in the chat, but somebody said my headcanon is canon. That's exactly what's happening.
It's canon if I say it's canon. It's mine is for similar reasons. Mine is Xander, because Xander was the first character that I thought up. It was something that was just kind of came about as like a necessity in a conversation with Rainy. It was like, okay, you know, what are people gonna, you know, if I want it. So when I was originally doing the plan for the food, I asked him, are we gonna have flour? And if so, where's player gonna get it? And then it was, okay, how do we have flour in the game? They grow wheat. Okay, what happens after that? Well, they would mill it. Okay, are they gonna have a mill or are they gonna go to a mill? And we decided to have them go to a mill. And then it was, okay, who's gonna run the mill? So it was just kind of this, like, we created the needs for the game, and then the characters came out of that, and Xander was the first one. And I just really liked the idea of a big, tall, kind of intimidating looking guy who likes to bake little cakes. And like his whole personality came off of that. And then it was, okay, you know, I kind of want to make a black guy because I've never done that before. And I feel like we could use one. I can justify that. Okay. How do I justify him being in Japan? He was in the US military. Okay. Backstory. So just the whole process of creating a character for me is fun because it's not like, okay, who do I want to make? It's what are the needs and how do I fill them? And it's kind of like putting a puzzle together almost of how do I make it work. So, but as far as like concepting, my favorite thing when we were doing all the characters was coming up with the backstories and their personalities and putting all those pictures together for references and then giving them to Cowrie and seeing her just pluck them straight out of our brains.
He's amazing.
Just an incredible experience to watch as a writer.
Or my favorite characters that we did. That was absolutely amazing. Actually, guys, want to guess who my two favorites are that we made? Pretty obvious, right?
I mean, I know.
Parsa and Anahita?
Parsa and Anahita, yeah.
Yeah.
So, just seeing them come together, she did such a fantastic. And it's a really weird mix we went with, you know, Persian Japanese.
Yeah.
Really quite unique. But Anahita, to me, looks very much like she has Persian roots. Like, I don't know how she did it, but it just comes. Really
I can help you
Magic.
a little bit. There was a lot of research that went into all of our half characters.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of me Googling half Japanese, half Persian people and
more often than you
pulling.
think, though. There are a lot more people.
Yeah, actually a lot. And so polling, you know, we had to do the same thing with half Japanese, half black, and pulling all those references together and having like 6 different types of faces and then giving
It was
that to
really
her.
surprising how much information there actually was on that.
Yeah. And
Well,
it made it a lot easier. And
It's hard
so
to find
for
Iranians in Iran. So.
yeah. So Parsa was a favorite for mine too, specifically because the references we gave Cowrie were so wild and had nothing to do with each other. And she just made it work. And to give you guys an idea, I gave her like 3 faces of half Persian, half Japanese men. I gave her, I swear to God, a picture of a shirtless Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z and Levi from Attack on Titan. That was
Specifically
it.
for the hair.
What was the website
Those
you
were her
using,
references.
For our...
It was Nucleino. Yeah. Those were her references. And freaking knocked it out of the park. Just killed it. So, yeah, concepting characters is fun. I really like it. Okay, so next question. I like this. Do you guys prefer red, yellow, or green apples?
Green, always.
Yellow.
Really? You
I like
monster.
sour
Honeycrisp.
apple.
I could
Oh,
go
you
for
monster.
green, but I mostly go yellow.
Always
Sounds
Honeycrisp.
good.
I have your
Honeycrisp.
Nucleino that I'm gonna quickly show. to
Oh
confirm.
no. I like orange apples. That wasn't one of the options, but those are my preference. You're doing it in the. Oh god. There might be a couple other images in there. I don't really remember.
This is a very interesting one here. Their houses.
Oh right, those are Kenna trousers. Yep.
Anyway, wherever we were talking about apples.
Yeah, we were talking about favorite apples. Red is the only acceptable answer. I like the ones that are like red and yellow. They're like mixed.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, apples are actually how Sydney and I met.
Yes! That's right. We worked at a caramel apple stand at the Renaissance Fair.
Yep.
Yeah. Little fun story for
What is
Where
the-
do you think my costume comes from?
I could go for red, but only if it's that very specific.
Green's the best.
Alright. Is there any possibility for a home console game in Sunnyside, a la Jumino Kart?
So, interesting thing is that we have an arcade in the game, and we are going to try to put a mini game on there that is on
DLC.
It's not home console, it's just the arcade. That's what is planned for now. So, it's that's the closest.
Very real hard not to talk about this, but
I know,
Keep it
right?
in.
I know exactly what you're thinking about, Ren. I know what you're thinking about. We're not talking about it. Maybe.
Muted.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. So next one is non-game related since it's Halloween here. What is everyone on the team's favorite candy?
Milky Way Midnights.
Oh, good choice.
That is a good choice.
Good choice.
Mint chocolate, really? I think.
Mint chocolate is
That one's divisive. That one's divisive. I know.
Anything Haribo makes. I'm basic.
Yes.
yeah, I'm basic too. Anything
Strawberries
that's like
especially.
anything that's obscenely sour is my favorite.
Yes.
I love sour stuff.
Sour
I
stuff.
like sweet.
For me, it's like I love chocolate covered almonds. I've been purging myself of sugar as of late, so like I actually had Smarties earlier, and I was like, "Oh my god, these are so sweet." But
I bet
the
fruit
other
tastes
thing-
better.
Oh, probably. Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
He needs fruit. He needs the sugar.
Yeah. When you stop eating sugar for a while, fruit ends up tasting so much better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
god. I had a banana earlier, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Berries and grapes. Oh my God.
But the other one of my guilty pleasures is actually Mars chocolate. Just not even so much for the taste, more because I like to say Mars bar.
I've been told you guys don't call it a Mars bar in America. Right.
No, for us, those are Milky Ways.
Right. We
Really?
call them Mars bars over here.
Yeah, those are
Oh,
Milky
that's
Ways.
Milky Ways.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
Milky Way.
Okay. We have Mars bars here in Canada.
Yeah.
Mars bars.
Hey, collects to be
Mars
different.
bars.
So for you, filthy non-Americans, when Laura said Milky Way Midnight, it's a dark chocolate Mars bar.
I
And
can get behind that.
So much better.
I
because dark
Actually,
chocolate is
I should mention
Dark
this.
chocolate is so good.
There's something
Yeah.
that I'm more addicted to than Haribo's. A lot more, actually. Dangerous. Less.
I was about to say that.
Chocolate
Oh,
eclairs.
Yes.
Okay.
It's way
My
too-
mom makes
That's-
the
that's
best
not
chocolate
candy,
eclairs
though.
ever.
Technically not candy.
What do you mean?
That's a
It
whole
is
freaking
literally.
dessert.
See, that's another
It's a
problem.
dessert.
You guys don't call it eclairs. I don't know what you guys call it. Hold on.
Eclairs for
Oh.
us are like huge donuts.
It's
No,
Basically.
French
no,
eclair.
no. What's wrong with
Chocolate.
you?
What?
Nobody knows what you're talking about, Rainy. Even the Bulgarian turned on you.
This we call them eclairs.
No, no,
Cadbury eclairs.
No, 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 no. Eclairs are the best
Cadbury
ever.
eclairs? What is this?
Is
You
it like
guys
a
like
Cadbury
chocolate
egg?
something.
It's like pastry filled in with like cream, and
Okay,
there's
well,
That's-
I'm not
That's a
talking about
French
that.
eclair.
I'm
Oh,
not
no.
talking
That's a
about
French
that.
eclair. That's
I'm
what
talking
we're
about
saying.
a caramel.
That is an eclair.
It's essentially a caramel sweet that has
Chocolate
chocolate
in
in the middle.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
it's
that sounds
called
interesting.
Cadbury eclair.
What? Yeah, we don't have anything
People
like
did not
that.
expect
Yeah,
this to kick
we
off the way
don't.
it
That's
is.
sorcery.
You know what? We
Very
have
That is
like
pretty cool.
vanilla. We have like
Oh,
a
I
Yeah, they're
know
both
what
called
you're
eclairs.
talking about. I know what you're
I told you the
talking about.
Bulgarian turned on
But
you.
let me just say, the actual normal eclairs as well, I love those too. So
Also delicious, yeah.
it's a win.
Um,
Yeah.
And
Are you
baklava as
referring to
well,
these
if
ones,
you're
Rainy?
cultured.
Yeah. Are you referring to these ones?
Oh, you're sending
Like, check, yeah, check the
Yes,
chat.
those
Oh,
delicious.
oh.
I've tried them
wow.
in the UK. Like they were good. They were good.
Those do look
If
good.
you like
Oh,
caramel,
those
I like
things,
them.
those are amazing.
Those are amazing.
So, my favorite candy is a weird one. It's called a Take 5. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it.
I've heard about that.
It's like pretzel and caramel and like nougat and chocolate, and it's just it's so good. Like you take 5 minutes to enjoy it.
Ooh,
Yeah, but it has pretzels, so it's like I love them. I also like Baby Ruths, our personal favorite, Baby Ruths.
One thing that's divisive that I really like is those dark chocolate covered coffee beans. I really like those.
Yes.
Those are a bit much for
those.
me, but I understand the appeal.
I really like bitter stuff, so of course that's gonna be
Anything
right
with
down my alley.
coffee, I'll
Yeah.
for.
My most favorite is Raffaello. I don't know if you know them. Like they're like these sweets of coconut and almond in the middle.
Oh,
These
those
are
look
really-
good. Is
these
that
are
white
really
chocolate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we have
believe
them
it's like something like white chocolate inside too. As a
That looks good.
That's a culture,
Yeah.
man.
All right, we can talk about candy all night.
Yeah, all right.
All right. So why the next question's from Catman. He wants to know why everybody didn't get into a costume.
I am in a costume.
Yeah,
Kyle's always in costume.
Back-end developer. There you go.
Yeah,
No, I dress specifically like Kyle though.
Yeah, you did. Actually, you did. You wore the shirt. I didn't even notice.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I'm actually wearing overalls.
He's wearing the whole thing. That's great. Also, I too dressed up. I am a kitty cat.
Oh.
And I didn't dress up at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is just a regular Monday
Yeah.
casual wear.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I'm not in a costume. I just looked through my LARP stuff and I just whipped something real quick.
You know, it sounds very believable for you, though, Ren. It sounds very
does.
believable.
And Liz is dressed up as a disembodied voice.
Oh yes.
Laura too. And Ken. Oh, Ken
Ken's
did
a
get dressed
pirate.
up. He put on an eye patch.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, that was
He's an
that.
Irish pirate.
And chuckled for the whole day.
Ken
Oh,
wore
you
an eye patch.
didn't? Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's Easter egg. Yeah, right there.
You guys don't know this, but so you guys can see their avatars, Ken, Liz, and Laura. Those are their avatars in our server. But that's always Ken's avatar, but he added the eye patch for tonight. So he did dress up in his best way possible.
I forgot.
And Bagheera is the void. You're
Bagheera
correct.
is-
He's the void tonight.
Way too much.
All right, next one's for you, Rainy. Will the hose get any longer?
Don't say that out of context, please.
You made it bad.
It does.
That's how it's phrased. I just said it. It's not my fault. You are a horrible human.
Not currently. The hose is an adequate length at the moment.
Oh, that's what you guys were talking about. I was like, what's going on?
He took it there, not
But-
me. I just wanted to know if there were any ideas for
Not at the moment.
hose
no.
extensions.
There's a thing that we could do. There's an argument that can be made that we can do it as the skill tree thing. We're always looking for
True.
skill tree stuff to add because
Yeah.
we have too many upgrade systems in the game and it's sometimes hard. So that could be a good
Yeah.
one. But one thing I also mentioned in the passing, and I also noticed you guys asked, was the tips of the hose.
Oh yeah,
and
you
being
can
able
lump
to
that
change
question
those.
in here.
Yeah. It was an idea I had. We don't have it planned anywhere in the development, I'll be honest. But that was going to be one of the reasons for 3D printing this, was so that you could print custom parts to up stuff. We don't have a system currently to change the hoses. I guess we'll update you guys if we to add it. I really want to. About the development.
The thing too is, so with games like this, yes, we want to make them cozy and fun, but we also have to add some kind of thing that makes it harder. We do have to gamify things, and we have to put limits on stuff. Because we need to have that feeling of, here's the problem that I have to solve. And so, for instance, Stardew Valley, the big thing for that is inventory management and stamina management. We decided we didn't really like those two things, so we decided to put the difficulty elsewhere. And one of those places is that your hose can't go too far, because then you could just, use the hose on the whole farm, and it's not like, it's not realistic, but two, it just kind of allows for too much. Kyle, I see you dying over there. Knock it off.
Cats.
And so, I know, but the chat's all you guys. You troublemakers.
I blame Lauren for the.
But yeah, so the reason for the hose not, being unlimited is because we have to have some limitations. So it's kind of like how do we
as
balance
somebody
that?
said in I think he was you can build more. Essentially, you can just build more stations. The only downside
and that's
to
how
it is that
you-
you just
yeah.
need more material for. Currently, that's.
All right. You kind of talked about the hose upgrades, so we'll skip that one. I'm ignoring all of you guys in this chat, you troublemakers. This is what I deal with on a daily basis,
I
guys.
said it for you. I told them.
Makes it even better.
All right, so this is a semi-serious one. How does SunnySide plan to do storm effects, i.e., damage repair to things, etc., or just ... question mark?
Right, so we don't actually have any gameplay effects outside of the weather system at the moment.
The answer is we don't.
Yes. So it's not just for the lack of time to make it, but it's also the fact that we wanted to kind of have a bit more freedom on making the weather whatever we want to just convey feelings. But if we do add a gameplay penalty to it, then we need to make sure that it's clearly
be too big of a pain.
Yeah, you guys know when it's going to happen. The player knows when the storm is coming, so they can prepare. But also, if you think about it, it takes away from the cozy system, and also adds just a layer of constant worry that, hey, this thing does.
Yeah. We always balance, and Rainy and I have these conversations a lot, is we balance out how long will it take to develop, what's the benefit to the player, like what is the player actually getting out of this mechanic, and is it going to be fun or is it just going to be annoying? And that's how and I feel like if we do storm effects, it's just annoying. Like there's no benefit to it.
I personally think it would be as cool of a system as it sounds. I don't think the SunnySide is the right game for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I've seen it in so many in Harvest Moon games and other farming games, and to be very honest, it's like, okay, it's summer. There's going to be a storm. It's going to damage half my crops. I know what's going to happen. It's just annoying.
It's just annoying.
And like you have to have a pretty damn strong storm to destroy like that much too. So like you.
I was just saying that's also kind of how I feel about the crow system in Stardew Valley. So you have the crows, and then you build scarecrows to keep the crows away. And that's pretty much the extent of it.
Yeah,
it's literally just a nuisance, and it only exists to force you to make one item. What's the point? Like, I'm not getting anything out of it. So
I would try to befriend a crow, have a pet. That would be cool.
Yeah, right?
Crows are cute.
All right.
It will bring you money.
He's smart.
Next. Okay, this is from Easy Bake Lovin'. That is a great name. Let's see. It says, "Hey guys, I'm at work, so unfortunately I can't watch. Hopefully you're watching this back later. But have you guys had any thoughts for in-game holiday events?"
Oh, we do. I don't think it's something that anybody doubts.
We're not lacking ideas. That's the problem.
we very much openly talked about it. Yeah, the game's gonna be farmer markets, Christmas, and game. And every season is
good job, Rainy. I'm proud of you.
For what?
For not saying them all. I watched that happen. Good job.
And we also gonna have unique events to happen in every season. Plenty of cool stuff to happen. Actually, funny enough, you guys should know this. We got to a point that we were worried we were doing too many events every single day, so that the player doesn't have time. To so not for lack of it.
Okay. This is actually a good question. This is from Catherine Young. What were the results of that poll for character customization? The clothing over body shapes.
Well, the character creator completely got an overhaul. Was the work of Alan, Ken, myself, and did change the UI, we changed the works. You guys actually saw the new character model going around. We can't show the new character creator, unfortunately. It's Merge's fault.
We love blaming them for that stuff.
But we ended up keeping it separate. We're not gonna have full body pieces. I to wear different pieces. We had to put some restrictions in place.
Yeah.
A lot of work for us, and we're planned for it. And
the general results of the poll itself were that people really wanted to make sure they had clothing customization. And it seemed like that was really important. Now, to make it very clear, it does not mean that we're going with full clothing customization and not body customization. What we were concerned with was the extremes of the body customization. So how upset would people be if we have, say, a weight slider but don't have super skinny and super overweight? Are people going to be okay if we cut out those extremes and still have the slider but with a little bit less? And it seemed like people were mostly okay with that if it meant that they got to have full clothing customization. So that's kind of the route that we went with. Okay, let's see what's next. Will certain characters be more reluctant to give you their contact info than others? Like some give you fetch quests or something before they give it to you. That's from Frosty Locks and Daggers.
So
also
currently, receiving contact info of a character treated as you unlocking that, not necessarily as a story beat. So as soon as you meet that character for the first time, it's added to your contact list because the system needs to keep track of how many with them. Because essentially we are treating the point of reference for that's how it works currently. If it comes down to the fact that the narrative wants it to trigger at a different point in the story, do it that way, that would be a more natural way of doing it. But just so you know, for now, Contacts app is you on talking to the first time.
Okay, let's see. This might have already been answered, but is building bonds with the characters done in a similar style as Persona's social links? Someone mentioned that SunnySide was inspired by Persona, and I can tell it was, but I was just curious if this aspect was also an inspiration.
There are so many aspects that go into building friendship points in SunnySide. It is very similar to Persona, though. Story of SunnySide is a bit more linear than you might guess. No, it's linear for characters. So we have these quests that every character has, similar to Persona, go through. But to unlock those points of story, you need to hit certain friendship points. And to hit those friendship points, you then take. Very similar to Persona, how you kind of invite them on stuff, build up the next. That's very similar. The only difference is that SunnySide is going to have a bit more options in Hangouts. In Persona, just hanging out with an NPC gets you friends. SunnySide, you need to be careful. It's gonna be.
Rainy, pull your microphone closer.
Oh, my bad. So that kind of just works in hand. So you go on Hangouts and dates, or not dates. Let's keep dates out of this one. You go on Hangouts, you build up friendship points. When you hit certain friendship points segments, then you get more of the story and the quest happen.
Sorry, I'm laughing at this chat happening over here. You guys are heathens. Okay. Let's see. This one's my personal favorite. How many chucks would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
As many chucks as it could chuck, if it could
12.
chuck wood.
42 is the answer to everything.
There you go.
Kenna got it.
That's
42. Answer to life, universes, and everything.
Can't refute that one. You can put that in a spreadsheet.
Don't give me ideas.
Okay, so the nenext one was, will there be animal ear headbands? Kind of like what I'm wearing.
It's have it programmed if Alan wants to model some. go for it.
I'm not going to say no. We don't have any plans for it, but
Wait, okay. Here's the thing. Here's a bit of information that is used to do that. The new character creator allows for head accessories, so can do it. It's a matter of if we. That's honest.
I think it's a matter of making it work with the hair, right?
Well, we can just kind of have it sit in front of it always.
Yeah. I don't know. Something we'll think about.
It can clip into the hair.
That's true. Yeah. All right. I will answer this one because this is a pain point for me. Fairy Tale Babe wanted to know, will we have indicators on the map for each character showing where they are? No. I think it's creepy. I don't want to encourage that kind of behavior. We've talked about how we want to do this because you do need to have a way to find people. There was ideas for a system where you would text somebody and it would ping you back with their location. It's not written into the development schedule though. Is that something you think we could probably still do? Or do you want to just do map dots? I think map dots would be harder.
Yeah, so we need to do that anyway because if you remember, the quest system has a map value.
Right.
So, having the text system kind of refresh that code, it's just going to be part of the whole.
Yeah. So there's your answer. So a constant running map of everybody's location. No, it's creepy. Yeah. So the idea then still is, so if there is somebody you want to know where they are, you can shoot them a text message and then you'll get kind of a ping back. So at least you're like getting permission to know where they're at, which I don't know. I feel like as game developers, as anybody who's creating any form of like media, I feel like we have this responsibility to not encourage people to do bad things. And I feel like a lot of time that's something that people don't consider unless it's like your intention. Like if we were talking about like Definitely Not Fried Chicken, it's a game about literally running a drug meth lab or something at a chicken restaurant. Like, okay, cool. If that's what you're trying to do, awesome. It's fun. But when you're doing a cozy game, for me, it's important that you kind of stick in that genre. And for me, the cozy genre is don't encourage people to pet wild animals. Don't encourage people to go onto other people's farms and pet their farm animals. So it's little things like that we're trying to just be conscious of. So
you mean you don't run a meth lab in your chicken kitchen?
I mean, I don't tell anybody about it.
I don't have a chicken kitchen yet. I have just the kitchen.
You pretty much summed the whole Breaking Bad series.
That's actually what inspired the video game.
Yeah, you should check it. It's a merge game.
If you guys don't know, Definitely Not Fried Chicken is a merge game. It's out. It's been out for a while. I think they do updates and stuff.
Very good game.
Go check it out. It's on Steam. It looks fun. I mean, if I had time, I'd probably play it, to be honest. Okay, let's see.
But one thing to just answer quickly about that is that if a character is part of a quest,
then
yes, you will get a map indicator.
Yeah.
Outside of this, then we're thinking of having it as a different.
Yeah, you will have quest markers, absolutely, because that's important. So, pet the danger kitty. This kitty? You want me to pet it? He's like, no!
Did a reach.
I thought they were talking about Kenna.
Oh, is Kenna the danger kitty?
Am I?
Does Kenna have a
Actually,
danger
I got
kitty?
up to go find my. I have cat ears around here somewhere. It was my backup costume.
Nice. It's usually my backup too. Cat ears.
Oh, I think it might have been about the fact that you said we don't want to encourage people to pet wild animals. So danger kitty would just be a raccoon.
Don't pet the wild animals.
Okay, what do we have next? Because
I think that's it. I think we hit the end. I think we did a good job.
This has been
team.
3 hours and 20 minutes stream.
Woo!
Thank you to everybody in the chat for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out. It's been a big one, and this was your first time joining the stream, guys. So to put you guys through a 3.5 hour stream right away. Bravo.
Yeah, seriously. And Bagheera right on cue.
Right on.
Got up and left. He's like, my job is done.
Yep.
I get to go somewhere else now, which is under my feet apparently.
As always, wishlist the game on Steam if you haven't. You can tell your friends and families about it. You can join Discord, and the link right down here. We also have Twitter that we post a lot of good stuff on. Yeah, if you join Discord, we can all chat there. And other than that, this video will be on our YouTube right after I end the stream.
Yep. Yeah, right. And also, for anybody who didn't catch it, our wonderful friend Dr. D-Dub actually put out another video. So if you guys want to go check that out, type it in. Somebody wants to drop the link, go for it.
The raid system from raiding him.
Yeah, we would raid him for sure. I just want to make it clear. Sometimes he gets accused of like being paid by us or something. We don't. He's just really good at making those deep dive videos and looking for information. And sometimes he gets it right, sometimes he gets it wrong. We like to make fun of him, but go give him some love. Go watch his video. Go throw him some comments. He deserves all of the stuff. Go watch all of his Coral Island videos and stuff. And
yeah,
all
like
that,
kudos
so.
to him for speaking on us. Like I see these top 10 farming games to come out in this timeline, and it's like
never us.
It's been the same one you've been talking about for the past 6 years. What's SunnySide? It's like Dr. D-Dub talks about it. Come on,
Yeah,
get
he
on the
cornered
bandwagon.
that. He cornered that SunnySide market. Pat, where's Pat Anderson? I'm waiting for a SunnySide video. You got to make one too, man.
Well, we haven't had the game for him, so.
Yeah, if you guys subscribe to any of those channels that make like top 10 games coming out in 6 weeks.
Oh, always.
Go tell
yeah.
them. Go tell them. Yeah, SunnySide's
Yeah, go
coming.
tell them. SunnySide. Go tell them about SunnySide. Also, to reiterate what Rainy said, thanks, team. So, Matt, who was here earlier, Andy, who left, Kai, Kenna, Kyle, Bagheera, who left so rudely, Ren, Ken, Laura, and Liz. And then also not here are Cowrie, Allen, and Jade, our writer, and then 2 of our volunteers. Thanks to everybody. And especially to you guys who stuck around. And Lauren! Lauren's in the chat! And Lauren! Don't forget Lauren!
It was mostly on her best behavior in the chat.
Mostly.
I don't know about that.
Better than I have seen.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us and doing this long freaking live stream and answering questions and being available and interacting with the community and stuff. We really appreciate it. So, and I saw this question in the Discord. No, SunnySide's not being released in 6 weeks. Get out of here.
Shut your shot.
Get out of here.
All
Get out of here. That nonsense.
6 weeks. Don't give me an anxiety attack.
I know, right? We all just had a mini heart attack. 6 weeks. Heck no.
All right, we wish you all a happy Halloween and hope you all have a great rest of your day. See you all later.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Bye.